That was funny. Yeah.
I told you to sit down there.
You almost stepped here. Get there. Okay, we're ready.
Good evening. It's 7 p.m. on the night of October 21st, 2025. I want to call the LaGrange County Board of Zoning Appeals to order. Krista, can we have a roll call, please?
Glenn,
Here.
David,
Here.
Jerry,
Here.
Nick,
Here.
and Tyler.
Here.
Do we have a motion, a second to approve the agenda as presented?
I make a motion that we approve the agenda as presented.
Second.
We have a motion, a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Post same sign. Condition, the October meeting minutes, check. I'm all over the board. The agenda is approved for tonight. Motion and second to approve the minutes of September.
So moved. Second.
We have a motion and second for the meeting minutes. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Post same sign. Minutes approved. Any communications? No. So welcome to the LaGrange County Board of Zoning Appeals. This is a 5-member board, all of whom reside within LaGrange County. Let it be known that as a petitioner, you are requesting a variance to build and or operate outside of the ordinance of LaGrange County. It is the sole responsibility of the members of this board to make a decision on whether or not a variance shall be granted. So how this meeting works is the petitioner has 15 minutes to explain what they're trying to accomplish to be given a variance. If there are any remonsters, they will also have 15 minutes to voice their concerns. Then the petitioner will have 5 minutes to try and answer any comments or concerns brought up by the remonstrators. Also, while presenting or speaking, make sure you're addressing the board and not the audience, okay? Does anybody have any questions over anything that I've said? Perfect. Ready?
So the first one we have on the agenda tonight is an administrative appeal. We're in Milford Township, Section 21, Township 36 North, Range 11 East. It's zoned A1. It's located west of 8610 East, 500 South, Wolfville. Administrative appeal is regarding determination of substantial improvements or changes made to a previous variance. So, back in July, there was a land use variance presented and it was denied. The petitioner since then has brought in some information. I deemed it was not a substantial change and they believe that it was a substantial change. So they're here tonight for you to hear their appeal. Have a representative?
Troy Dyer, 5465 South, 930 East, Wolfville. I wanted to go over a few things of, I guess, Robbie's against the substantial change. For the first one, we came in, the variance was on all of 10 acres. There's a 10-acre plot there, and we did discuss why we were here at the meeting for only using the front portion of the 10 acres for the development of the personal garages. During that time, Lynn wanted to put a memorandum in of only using that, or I could only construct of personal garages on the front. There was still concern of being able to use any of the rear property in the future to come. So my biggest change in this substantial change is I want to bring it down to only the 4 acres in the front, only as a variance for commercial use on A1 zoning, and the remaining of the property will stay A1. With that change, I did end up doing, which I just got yesterday, the wetland delineation, which considered the back portion of the property now at 2 acres, full forestry, and a spot up front, which would have been in that plotted 4 acres, can be a section of approved justification to get rid of. So, and I just got this yesterday, if you guys want to see this. So I did not turn it in to Robbie at the moment. And then for And I guess to that, using the 4 acres in front would allow me to have a more of a definition of a hardship for the 4 acres in the front, instead of using 10 acres in the back. So going along with that, kind of for the bylaws, we suggested there would be bylaws to this property, considering considering for an HOA. Kind of looking into that, we would want to more or less put it on the title of the 4 acres or 10 acres that there couldn't be in this, which would allow a recorded to the deed, which allowed LaGrange County to allow any of this enforcement. And during this time, the last 2 months, I've also been in contact with the highway department for driveways. That was concern at the last meeting for entrance and exit for commercial use. They've came out and took a look at it. I've gave them elevations, and for the elevations from top to bottom, it would not succeed their commercial, is what they told me. So we would just have to get a designated spot for a driveway entrance, which I posted it out for me, and she told me that it would be approved by them if it was commercial use. So, and I also have a residential driveway permit approved now. So, site layout did change for a reason of being less individual garages, which would be less units, which would take up less space up front, which would also allow to have this as a site plotted layout in the future, not one full standing building at 200 feet. There would be individual buildings, which would allow us to enforce nothing to be outside storage because there is no room. So, let's see. Buffering, I mean, we added a little more buffering, but all sides of this property is wooded. It's about what I have really from Robbie's kind of questions of what we went through the deed.
Same thing as usual, the public hearing, or
We have to ask for any public comment.
does anybody else want to speak in favor of this petition tonight? Anybody want to remonstrate against this petition tonight? This will close the public hearing.
This is not a public hearing.
Yeah.
is it? This is not a public hearing, no.
Can I
I'm
ask
supposed to
questions?
explain now why I said it wasn't a substantial
Okay.
change.
Okay.
It seems like he didn't really go along with what he had turned in originally. Well, the second time was kind of like a third time now. But go ahead, Robbie.
So the first proposed substantial change I received back after the meeting, early August. And so I gave you all some information, and I also shared the same information with our petitioner. He had the same packet of information that you all have. And so their proposed substantial changes were a limitation of development. Only 4/5 of the 10 acres were going to be used for enclosed garages. At the meeting, it was explained that only 3 acres of the 10 acres were going to be used for the storage garages. They talked about deed recorded superseding restrictions. Also at that hearing, we talked about set bylaws governing the storage facility. There was strict outdoor storage prohibited, no parking or storage of RVs, boats, trailers, or personal items. It was also discussed at great length at that meeting that there would not be any outside storage allowed. Access control and enforcement. They had said they would have a gate for guests, only access the owners or guests that must be pre-registered. Weekly compliance audits, quarterly reports filed with zoning. It was discussed at the hearing that there would be a gate restricting access to the facility, preservation of the rural character, It was discussed at the hearing that they would be landscaping and buffering. That was the first proposed substantial change. I, again, believe that it was not a substantial change. So they filed the appeal in late August with a second set of, I guess, criteria for a substantial change, which you also have in your packet. Again, it talks about the ownership structure. They're going to sell individual garages as a subdivision plat. That is required, so that was not a substantial change. In order to sell one of the units, it has to be platted. At the hearing, he spoke about the platting process. Talks about revised plan abandons this structure and instead creates individual freestanding garages on their own parcels. So we had 34 units to begin with. 11 of them were freestanding, and they had 3 buildings that were going to have a multitude of storage units in those each. The new plan has just detached. I still don't believe that is a substantial change to their petition. Site layout and circulation. They quoted some site circulation patterns that considered a substantial change. That was for a PUD process. That's not for a variance process. The PUD requires when there are certain things changed after you have a PUD approval, you have to go back in front of the board to have your site plan approved. Ingress and egress is the next one. Again, this quotes a substantial change to a PUD, not a variance. The original proposal had one entrance to the facility, just like the proposed new layout. A separate drive is proposed to the remaining property, just like it was at the variance hearing to begin with. I said there's no change. Talked about natural buffering and screening. The original petition, they had talked about the landscaping, so it would be shading or hiding the building so you wouldn't see them from the road. Again, I don't believe there was any substantial change to that natural buffering and screening. Reduction in variance area at the original meeting, and I went back and listened to the minutes to make sure that I was understanding it correctly. It was proposed that 3 acres of the area was going to be used. The other 7 acres were going to be kept as natural or personal use. So again, I don't believe there was any substantial change in that from the original petition. Relationship to adjacent property is now we have 27 storage units instead of the original proposed 34. My conclusion, even with the new proposed substantial change information, I don't believe a substantial change to the original land use variance has occurred. I don't believe a change in the number of units is a substantial change to the land use variance. We can address mine.
Like questions for you or? Never done
I
it.
think we can do questions to both of them, yes, and Dustin as well.
So I have a question for the petitioner. You're talking about 4 acres. Robbie's talking about 3. So what is it really?
So it's 4. When we were here at the last meeting, and I took this all of when we talked and we sat here for 30 minutes on this discussion. The biggest thing was what I would do with the acres in the back if the variance was still on 10 acres. So I'm trying to pull the commercial off the rest of it and only have it for the 4 now. So no matter what, I would always have to come back and do anything for A1, because then you're still restricted under the A1 instead of having commercial use for it. So to me, that is a substantial change to the property layout in general, because that's to the variance. That's not to the layout of the property or anything.
I guess I would like to address that. I am reading for what they turned in. Their information for reduction in variance area is right off of what they turned in to me. The prior petition sought relief from the entire 10-acre tract. The current plan confines the request to approximately 3 acres, 2.52 developed acres. This is what they turned in August. I don't know anything about a 4-acre parcel.
What's the delineation that you just got yesterday, you said?
Yeah, well,
Does that play a part in the shuffling of acres?
shuffling a little bit. What it does is take the 2. I mean, I can, if you guys can take
Yeah,
this.
we need to see it.
So when we had a discussion last time, Lynn brought up from the GIS, there is wetlands on the front part of it. And then the neighbor that was here Vaughn, he's got 40 acres too. I'm gonna hand this, Justin.
Just pass them around all.
I only have 3 of them, sorry, but
That's fine.
he was here, and the 40 acres to the west of the property is registered forestry. So towards State Road 3.
Right.
And one of his biggest thing is was he didn't want runoff to the forestry or were, I want to say something to the wetlands, right? Like, so what I did is I turned the back 2 acres, had it delineated, and that will also go into forestry. It's unusable property. It's all black dirt. It's kind of this to go to hardship. Where the wetlands was up front, it was about 100 by 50-ish or so, which is in that 4 acres. Got that delineated down. What they pretty much said, it's no longer a wetlands. It was an old plot, which it still is kind of a peat moss dirt all up front, which is kind of where I can have a discussion on hardship for the ground itself. I mean, a self-standing pool building will be able to be put up there instead of any residence or agriculture. Hasn't been farmed in over 25 years. It's all free grown now. Nothing was planted besides a row of pine trees. And I mean, who I've talked to local, the people that farmed it 25 years ago, it didn't grow anything. So, and it's grown up with a few of walnut trees, shrubbery trees. There's no big logs on it. So
Can't get a partial variance for a lot, can you? You don't get a partial variance for.
Yeah, it was a land use variance for what he wanted to do with the property. His site plan would have shown what he had developed.
Okay.
so
Tyler,
my understanding to it, like when me and Robbie first started, she's like, well, just go for the 10 acres, which, and I thought I only wanted to do the 3 to 4 acres, and that's what it came in as, right? And she said, for a land use variance, we can do the whole thing, and then the land is the land. But when plotting out, I figured if you're going to plot it out, why wouldn't I just plot out the 3 to 4 acres there, which it's like 2 point whatever, but around the driveways, it equals up a little bit. If I plotted that out, then that would be the only place that land use variance would consider.
Yeah, your site plan, yes.
Exactly.
Which is what we turned it
Which
down.
would it be that? Now, and then for anything future, you'd have to come back and decide if you did anything on the A1 plot. Right? And then that's only residential or agriculture ground. I could not do anything else to it. And that was a huge concern in July of I can go do whatever I want on the rest of the 7 acres, minus the wetland stuff and anything else.
Again, at the first meeting in July, it was presented that they were developing 3 acres of the 10 acres. 7 acres were going to be left. Yeah.
So what you're proposing now, if I understand correctly, is that you take 4 acres and designate that.
Only for the land use variance.
Does that change that zoning at all? Or is it just a variance on an A1?
Still A1.
Okay. Gotcha. So the whole parcel is still A1. There's just a variance on the 4 acres.
What they want to do on those 4 acres.
Right.
Don't they have to make that a separate lot then?
They do when they plat it to sell the units. It has to be platted off.
Okay.
Mhm.
Which I agree with Robbie. We did talk about that first meeting for future, and she said, yes, once this gets approved, then that's where we go with plotting the ground. And we did talk about that the first meeting, but when we talked about it, I wouldn't want to go to plot the land and we still don't get a land use variance, because I think
Right.
that would be, putting the horse before the buggy.
Yeah, I'm talking about if it gets approved, you have to plat it in order
Yes.
to sell each individual unit.
Yes, ma'am.
You didn't have to plat the ground to come in and have a variance.
Right.
No.
Yes.
Yep. I agree with you. I think you explained it to me right the first time, is once we get the variance and then I'll go to plotting. And then once it's plotted out, that technically that 4 acres will only have the land use variance on it. The rest of it will remain A1.
So explain to me, I wasn't here for the July meeting.
Yes, sir.
Explain to me, other than the shift in 3 or 4 acres, what is the big difference between what you presented in July and what you would like for us to look at that is so much different now.
So my understanding in July is I would have a land use variance for all of the 10 acres. So the concern that I took from the meeting, from Lynn and a few that were here, the questions I got asked, and it really wasn't about the garages in general themselves. It was about everything I was doing later on, what I do with the land or what I was going to do with the rest of the 7 acres. So if the rest of 7 acres is staying A1, I still have to come up here for anything that I need that's outside of A1 zoning or restrictions. I'm only plotting now that I'm only going to use the 4 acres up front for what I'm asking to do. And that's as far as it'll ever go. If I want to do any more than that, like Lynn proposed the very first meeting, that he wants to put a memorandum on, I can't go any farther than what I have proposed. He doesn't want to see me back here. So my proposed now is I only want the 4 instead of the full 10. So that, to me, that was a substantial change in the land use variance.
So in the original one, you were proposing to develop everything you could possibly develop.
No, but the land use variance was on the full 10 acres. So if I would have came, I
The
could,
land use variance will still be on the entire property.
if I
But you
plotted,
will be restricted by your site plan. That's where the restriction is. If you get a variance for a property, the whole property's got the variance.
so once,
But the site plan is what constricts what you develop.
so, okay, question to that.
You can't put a variance on part of a parcel. It's all one piece.
So if you plot it out though, if we plot this out, that piece will be its own parcel though. So that parcel will only have the land use variance on the 4
Site
acres.
plan, well, yes.
Yes, sir. So, but the rest of the 7 acres wouldn't have a land variance on the 7 acres, would it? It would still be considered just A1 without a land variance.
At the first meeting, they put a restriction that there
Right.
would be no future development. They
Right.
had phase 1, which was presented and nothing else. And
One of like typical
Yeah.
conditions, yeah.
conditions.
So any future development, you have to come back for an additional variance request.
Yeah, any development. But that's my thought, or the way I've been directed, is the fact that from 10 to 7 is substantial change, because if I would have had a land use variance for all of it, and if it wasn't a member, I could do what I wanted. If not a development, if I had a different construction or a different commercial, I could do something different on the back 7 acres commercial, as long as it wasn't that development.
No, because it would still be A1. You couldn't do anything different.
Then you could build a house back there.
Yeah.
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 And like, that's
You could do
kind of what
any-
we're,
Any A1 zone,
Yep.
yeah.
It's not commercial.
but it wouldn't be, because and the way this is the only way I've understood it, is if the whole, like you said, the whole 10 acres had the land use variance, commercial use in A1. If I still got restricted to only the development that was there on that 3 to 4 acres,
Which, from my understanding, with Lynn's motion, that was in the first meeting.
yes. Well, he wanted to put a memorandum on it, if I'm correct, right? Memorandum to only
It's called a
develop.
condition.
Okay, yeah, okay. But let's say if I came back with a convenience store, I want to put them back in 7 acres. That's still a commercial use, but it wasn't on that development in the 4 acres. I still have 7 back there I could do a commercial development on. So that's what I've been,
To come back in.
yes, I would have to come back in, but the variance of the land use variance is already on that 10 acres.
Only
For your storage units.
It sounds like that.
Only for your site plan, only for your storage development that's on your site plan. There's also a line in here, limitations of developed acreage, where you state that only 4/5 of the 10 acres will ever be used for enclosed garages. That's 8 acres. So I don't know,
No, I think 4 to 5.
only 4 to 5. Oh, that's 4. Oh, I see.
So I've been playing around with the front to get it. So honestly, I played around with the front for a few weeks to get it under, so I could stay in that line of the property.
I guess what was your thought process on the, what was it, 34 to 27 change?
So all individual, it's a lot easier to plot out a 0.03 acre and have an individual garage on it to sell than it would have had a 150-foot long building with individual walls. Would have to be condoed out. And then that's technically where you start an HOA. And then doing it this way, everybody will own their portion, own the portion of the drive. So honestly, wouldn't have to have an HOA, and you could put this restricted deed on the deed.
Why don't you go ahead and continue your explanation to Tyler since he wasn't here? What else do you believe is a substantial change then?
Substantial change in it. Okay, this is where I was confused with Robbie. Am I allowed to substantial change the whole development, or am I only substantial change to the land use variance?
Well, as the variance was presented in July,
Mhm.
you were denied.
Yes, sir.
And you, within a year, you're allowed to reapply if you have substantial change. So far, I haven't heard any substantial change from July.
So to me,
You're still doing buildings,
yes, sir.
storage in the same location, on the same ground.
Well, personal garages, right, for sale. Now the buildings have changed, the layout's changed, which however substantial change is taken by each individual person, you can't really tell, correct? So then again, my land use variance of coming back on my thought is from 10 acres to 4. So it can never be done again out on more property, can't be added on to unless this meeting is adjourned.
Yeah, but
And
that
that's
was already
new
decided
tonight.
in July.
That's new tonight. That's never been put in any of the substantial information. That's new tonight about this 4 acres and plotting it off.
No, that's always been bringing the land use variance down from 10 acres down to 4. That's the biggest one, the very first meeting, and
It's not a-
I've always wanted not to only use 4.
We'll put it that way. It's not in any of the paperwork.
I never really wanted all 10 acres to be under the land use variance because I always knew the back wetlands would never be able to get used. And the A1 I wanted to keep as a forestry.
Other than what you had to clear for your buildings.
Well, other than what will have to be cleared. And technically in that side of the property, there's not a tree over 6 inches. It's all grown old, or not old, but newer walnuts grown up from the old fields. It just got left in, I think, 1993.
How do we?
Talking in circles.
Well, we're voting on whether he changed it or didn't change it.
Correct.
That's what we're
You're-
voting on. That's all we're
a
voting on.
substantial
We
change.
do that individually?
Well, somebody has to make a motion.
And a second. And then
So you,
a
yeah,
roll
you
call vote.
need to decide whether to uphold Robbie's decision that's not a substantial change or overturn her decision that it's not a substantial change.
And can I have a question to that?
Yeah.
I mean, so if it is overturned, then I have to come back and we go through the whole variance process again, correct?
Yes.
Yeah, you'd be reapplying.
Yes, okay. Just, I want to make sure.
So the biggest change that I see that you made here, and I don't know how big it is you take the buildings and take them apart.
Yes.
But I mean, it's like Tyler said, it's still in the same spot. The taking it down from 10 acres to 4, I can see how you would consider that because it doesn't allow you to do it further.
Mhm.
So in essence, you're giving up your right to do that, leaving that other 6 in A1.
Which, to that, I also turned 2 of it into a forestry, so technically now there's only 4 you can do
Okay.
anything with. I just want to make that clear.
So if you turn them into a forestry, does that take them out of A1?
That I haven't,
Okay.
They're protected.
they're protected.
Okay,
yeah.
so it's, okay, it's still A1, and 4 acres is plenty big to put a house back there or whatever.
Well, just to move things along, I'm going to make a motion to uphold Robbie's, the planning administrator's position on the appeal. Is that the correct way to word that? Okay,
Yeah, Robbie's.
okay.
I'll second it.
We have a motion, a second. All vote on that or?
Sure. Should we do a roll call vote?
Yeah, we need to vote.
Roll call vote.
David,
No.
Tyler,
Yes.
Jerry,
Yes,
Len,
Yes,
and Nick.
Yes. 4 yeses.
No,
Robbie's
My decision
Decision
is upheld.
upheld, yes.
Which means you can reapply in July, which would be a year, or you can rezone it to business? Or
Or industrial.
you have other options.
Yes, sir. Okay, appreciate it.
Yes. Yeah. You got that. Didn't have that.
Oh, boy. I
You've
might
never
have
been
to
told
have the
before.
keyboard.
No, that's no problem.
Asterisk on Kristen.
So the next one on the agenda is in Johnson Township, Section 25, Township 36 North, Range 10 East. It's zoned L1. It's located at 5155 East, 620 South Wolfville. We're asking for a developmental variance for a 14-foot roadside setback where 25 is required, and a second developmental variance for a 24-foot lakeside setback where 30 is required in the L1 zoning district. So here's the proposed new structure. Setback on the road is on the lower portion of the screen. Do you have a petitioner? Give your name and address.
Austin Busher, 10013 Gala Cove, Fort Wayne, Indiana, 46835. So the hardship we're facing in this case, well, let me start out by saying, we're petitioning for two variances, a 24-foot lakeside setback and a 14-foot roadside setback. The hardship we're facing is the lot size, as you can see. It's pretty small, and due to the setbacks, it pretty much limits you to having you pretty much can't have a house. We have a 3-story house, small footprint, 1,100 square foot per floor. And, we don't have any bedrooms on the first floor. It's pretty much half bath, laundry room, garage, kitchen, and great room. We believe the new home will add value to the neighborhood. It'll increase the property of the neighbors around. If you guys have seen the site, obviously, I've built on a lot of lots, and I could say it's one of the more challenging ones to build on. And yeah.
Anything else? Anybody else want to speak in favor of this petition tonight?
Thomas Munier, 1901 Traders Crossing, Fort Wayne. I'm the landowner, the homeowner, future homeowner. Yeah, like Austin said, the current cottage is on a hill and it's only 600 square feet. The new home would line up with the neighbors' homes. We're not really encroaching beyond what the neighbors' homes. I think you were out there taking a look at it. And as far as on the backside, we have no parking because of the width. If we park 3 cars nose to nose, that's all the parking we have on the backside. So we're actually gonna have some parking with building a garage on the back and then having a spot where we can park cars this way instead of nose to nose. So, and it's we're tearing down a cottage and building more of a forever home. So that's what we're looking to do.
Anybody else want to speak in favor of this petition tonight? Anybody want to remonstrate against this petition tonight? Close the public hearing. It wasn't, this is a little different write-up than.
Yes,
Okay.
it's 24 feet instead of 3 feet into the view shed.
Yeah, there was an error on this. I noticed it was on the board correct.
It's
So
how many feet into the view shed?
It's not into the view shed.
It's-
24 feet from the lakeside.
24 feet from the lakeside instead of 25.
There's a vacant lot next to them.
Ah, yes, there is.
Isn't it a
It
30?
used to be one
It's
property
supposed to be 30. This one's
and then it was split
Yeah.
into 2.
So it's 6 feet
into the
encroaching
setback.
the 30-foot setback, and then
6 feet.
On the lakeside?
lakeside setback's 30 feet and it's 24.
Hmm.
And they're proposing 24.
How long ago did Ron split this?
When we bought it in December 31st, 2012. So 2012.
You got the aerial, Robbie, please.
14 feet.
This one?
Yes, please. Thank you.
So if you drew a line from one neighbor's cottage to the other neighbor's cottage, our house would not encroach any further out than theirs do.
Well, I don't know about that.
Because the surveyor was out there and put stakes in the yard.
There was no stake in one of the corners, though.
Right, it would be where
Why wasn't there a stake in that corner?
which corner?
Which corner are you referring to?
Well, that would be the, on my, it would be this one right here.
Be the northwest.
Northwest, yeah, northwest. When I was out there was there was no stake.
There was not a stake there?
No,
Is that in where the shed would be?
yeah. And probably, is that shed in the front, your shed or somebody else's shed?
It's our shed.
It's your shed.
It's going away.
I would hope so.
As far as the property line goes,
Well, this is probably not accurate, so,
right,
yeah.
the property line stake would have been in the middle of the shed, but the new house stakes are next to the shed.
I saw all the new house stakes.
Yeah, that was well done.
Yeah.
That was well done. It gave a nice visual.
I'm not so concerned about the lake side of the house as I am concerned about the road side of the house. I'm very familiar with the south side Adams Lake. The Adams Lake Pub is just to the east. This is a very busy road. It's too small. It can't be expanded. I know, cars park where cars got to park. Explain to me how 14 feet is enough on the roadside.
So, essentially what that does is you're either going to have cars parking in the, what I'll call the public roadway or on the driveway. And we feel it's safer, obviously, to park in the driveway. So, if we scoot that house back to where the 25-foot setback, did you drive past the lot and see it?
I bet, yeah.
I mean, we'd essentially have to put up basement walls just to have a driveway on both sides. It'd just be unfeasible.
Is that 14 feet off the pin?
Yes.
And so how far is the pin from the edge of the road?
Trying to see if I have.
So that's what I noticed when I was out there is it says 14 feet, but that's to the pin. The pin is quite some distance from the edge of the road.
Yeah, their property line goes looks like into the road. So our ordinance says 25 feet from the property line, or it should have been from the edge of pavement. It shows,
Yeah. But where's that boundary pin at now? I thought it was in further. Maybe I misread that.
it is on this survey. I'm not sure if this drawing here is correct.
Yeah. Doesn't seem
Would you
like
like
it.
to see the survey?
Yes, please.
Yeah. I'm not a fan of the 14 feet either. The lakefront, I still think
If you have one handy.
you're not going to be in front of your neighbors. No.
Yeah, I don't have an issue with the lakefront. It's the parking out front. It's a 2-car garage?
One car.
Well, it's a 1-car garage, but
Yeah,
it's,
one car.
I mean, essentially, if we follow that ordinance, we're pretty much, you can look at the first floor plan, but it'd pretty much be half of what it is, the house. We're already down to a small footprint.
This is the road, and then this is gravel. This is a gravel parking area down here. And that's a gravel parking lot over there. And if we had Nick's place showing up down here, I don't believe it's any different than this house as far as the driveway from the actual line of the road to the house. I don't think we're asking for something that isn't already present in some of the neighbors.
That was then,
Right.
Yeah.
Sure, I understand.
is it legal to park on the side of the road like that? Where, will this continue no matter what we decide? Will that parking continue?
That's the only way only place we have to park. So yes, we've always parked in that gravel area, which is not the paved road, but it's part of the lot, I believe.
I'd say,
It's parking in the road right of way is really
Yeah.
what it is.
I mean, it's got to happen. That's what's going to
Happens
happen.
all over on the lakes.
So no matter if they can pull in or they park beside the road, they're going to park there.
I would say it's gonna improve a little bit. I mean, it's
It's
a lot. There's already a house there. Because right now there'd be one in the garage plus probably a couple out.
Mhm.
I think it would improve
Go
a
to the
little
south,
bit.
south elevation there, Robbie.
Well, see, the other thing that I was saying is on the right side of that
There you
parking
go, right
pad,
there.
if they pull tight up against that garage, the butt of their vehicle is not going to be out as far as what they park now. Because if my memory serves me correctly, the right side of that parking pad, it gets a little more shallow on the left, but the right side,
Deeper.
it's deeper. And so they can pull straight in, park one in the garage, one, two. Now the second one's going to be about out where the vehicles are now. The only
I'd say
downside
it's
is
better than what it is now.
It improves, we feel.
Yeah, I can't see how it can get any worse than it is now.
Oh, I'm sure it's possible.
You've lived longer than I have. I'm sure you've seen it, but
Those lots are very interesting. It's pretty rough down there.
that is a rough lot. I'm a builder and I don't envy you. You, good luck. Blessings to you.
I've driven past that lot for years and I'm like, man, one day somebody's gonna tear that down. And then we
There you go.
like the fun ones.
Yeah.
Anything else?
Nope.
Look like you're pondering one.
Me?
Mhm.
Well, I am, and I have some things written down, and I still don't think 14 feet is enough, but I suppose that's an improvement. But like everybody says, it's a difficult, but there are ways of building things these days. So I guess we'll go ahead and vote. I can ponder all I want.
Your approval will not be injurious to the public health, safety, and general welfare of the community. Jerry,
Yes.
Len,
No.
David,
Yes.
Nick,
Yes.
Tyler.
Yes.
The use and value of the area adjacent to the property included in the variance will not be affected in a substantially adverse manner. Tyler,
Yes.
Len,
Yes.
Jerry,
Yes.
Nick,
Yes.
David.
Yes.
The strict application of the terms of the zoning ordinance will result in practical difficulties in the use of the property. Jerry,
Yes.
Len,
No.
Tyler,
Yes.
David,
Yes.
and Nick.
Yes. Your petition's been approved. Thanks for coming in.
Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
So the next one on the agenda, we're in Milford Township, section 13, Township 46 North, range 11 East, it's zone A1. It's located west of 11775 East, 500 South Hudson. They're asking for a developmental variance to split off 7 acres where a minimum is between 2 and 5 in the A1 zoning district. So you can see here the areas they want to cut out. It's only 1 cutout though. It's not 6 or 7. It's 1 cutout. Yes, it's 5.
That should be 0.7, right?
Pardon?
That should be 0.7, right?
No, it's 7 acres they want to cut out
Okay.
of that area.
That's basically leave.
Cutting out the
This is-
buildings
yeah,
and the
the
areas right
tillable.
around the buildings. They want to leave the farm ground as farm ground. They want to just cut off those.
So why, this thing was confusing as all get.
Well, it was confusing. When it was first brought in, they were trying to cut it off that way and it's like, no. So the surveyor had this originally, but this is the layout that they're planning on cutting out.
So it's a 7-acre parcel that goes.
7 acres, roughly,
this.
up to 7 acres.
Yeah.
Approximately 7 acres.
So all these little individuals are irrelevant.
Gotcha.
Imagine that's one big parcel.
Do I have a representative? Oh, there you are.
Yep.
Let's see your name and address, please.
Thomas Langley, 4505 South, 1100 East, Wolcottville, Indiana. So yeah, the statement was that was explored different ways to maybe break that up, sell part of the buildings, and decided in the end to do it all as one. It was just easier that way to, and so the outside bold red line encloses all of the feedlots. It's been a feedlot since in the 60s. And so we'd like to keep it that way, but be able to sell it off separate from the farm ground and keep the farm ground. And if you notice, the house and the barns to the right, they're actually on a separate 2-acre parcel. So it's all of the buildings and lots and everything. And it used to be all feedlots, like number 3 and 4 used to be feedlots. Now they're just not feedlots. They're used for storage, used for in and out. And there's only a small part that is actually farmed there. And so currently it is being rented, and they have cattle in there, Holsteins and dairy cattle. And so the idea is to keep it that way and be able to sell it off from the farm ground. No change, basically, just a separation. The total acreage is 40 acres. So, and the buildings are fairly large, so it encompasses about 7 acres, depending on exactly where we put the survey lines. But basically, it's going to be tight on the buildings and the feedlots.
Anything else?
I think that covers it, I hope.
Anybody else want to speak in favor of this petition tonight?
Todd Perkins, 11045 East, 425 South, Wolcottville. We are the potential buyers. Next month will be 20 years that we've been renting the buildings from Tom and Brenda, and we house young cattle there, dairy cattle, and opportunity came to buy it. We will leave it like it is. We don't intend to do anything different other than to continue to raise cattle there and be able to own it instead of rent it.
Anybody else want to speak in favor of this petition? Anybody want to remonstrate against this petition? We'll close the public hearing.
Robbie, help me understand. The minimum's 2 to 5.
Mhm.
Why are they here for a 7?
Because it doesn't fit in between the 2 and 5. That's the first time split off is only between 2 and 5.
Gotcha. So it's a gap. You gotta be in that
You have
gap.
to be in the between. It used to be,
It was strictly 5.
so we lowered it
Was,
to between
yeah.
2 and 5 because we were
Gotcha.
seeing the buildings that were less than 5 acres being proposed to be split off.
So
Gotcha.
So
the area, I have a question. The area marked 1, that's not part of the sale, or it is part of the sale?
It is part of the sale,
Okay.
but it's on its own 2-acre,
It's on its own 2-acre parcel.
correct.
So we're splitting it really 3 ways?
So actually, no, the 2 acres is already
How
separate.
long has it been its own parcel? Several years.
Oh, it's been its own parcel for a while. Okay. Okay, very good.
So when they split the other 5 acres off,
7.
so it's 7 plus 2.
no, the 2-acre parcel on number 1 is not involved in this 7
Okay.
acres because it's its own parcel. Okay?
So are they going to combine it now? Are you going to combine it?
No, it'll be sold as 2 separate parcels.
So then they're parceling off 5 acres?
They're
Seven.
Seven.
parceling off 7 acres.
Forget about the house. All the
Forget about
barns
that.
are on 7
Forget
acres.
about number 1.
2, 3, 4, and 5.
2, 3, 4, and 5 is basically up to the 7 acres.
If you take the dotted line there and it lines up with the road that goes right into Stroh. And so it's forever been in its own taxes as 2 acres.
Okay.
If you squared off the world, everything to the right, it would have been 20 acres in that parcel, but with the road there, they had to split off 2 acres off the end. And so it's always been property taxed as 2 acres there. And then the 40 acres to the left of that.
So-
Which is where he wants to cut the 7 acres out of.
Yeah. So when you eventually sell it, you're going to sell number 1 with everything else?
Yes,
And then how many acres total will that be for him?
9,
That makes me.
give or take. Yeah, a little bit, but
Okay.
yeah.
Now I'm on board. Keep going.
The 2 acres didn't need a variance as I understood
Right.
it, so.
Right.
It's considered a parent parcel.
Yeah.
Because of the new zoning.
This, if this variance is to, if this variance is to pass, would that be considered a subdivision from the parent parcel?
So is that the only one?
That'll be the only time that the remainder of that can be split.
Unless it's a 20 acres, but you have to have 15 remaining.
Yeah.
So that won't be the case.
Okay, I got it now.
So the farm grounds.
As a cattle farmer myself, it is extremely hard to get a cattle barn built within the means of IDEM, and to have an existing infrastructure like this one that they've been using for 20 years. As it is, it works. They want to split it off and continue to use it for milk production, beef production. I think this is a pretty good reason for a variance.
Who farms the ground then?
I do.
You still farm the ground. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, if it's already there and it's working, I don't,
Any other discussion?
Yeah, I'm okay.
The approval will not be injurious to the public health, safety, and general welfare of the community. Lynn,
Yes.
David,
Yes.
Jerry,
yes.
Nick,
Yes.
Tyler.
Yes.
The use and value of the area adjacent to the property included in the variance will not be affected in a substantially adverse manner. Tyler,
Yes.
Nick,
Yes.
Jerry,
Yes.
David,
Yes.
Lynn.
Yes.
The strict application of the terms of the zoning ordinance will result in practical difficulties in the use of the property. Jerry,
Yes.
David,
Yes.
Lynn,
Yes.
Nick,
Yes.
Tyler.
Yes.
Your petition's been approved. Thanks for coming in.
So the next one we have on the agenda is a land use variance. We're in Bloomfield Township, Section 17, Township 37 North, Range 10 East. It's zoned A1. It's located west of 1570 North, 200 East LaGrange. It's a land use variance for a private soccer complex. Here's the proposed drawing. We can see that some parking, the soccer fields, there's restrooms. They had to buy some additional property here. That's what this survey is for. Here's the overall parcel. This is the proposal. Do you have a representative?
Oh, God.
Yes, Richard Muntz for Mr. and Mrs. Luna. There, as we know, there are 5 things that have to be met in order that the variance be granted. The first is that the land use variance would not be injurious to the public health, safety, morals, or general welfare of the community. I note that there is substantial objection to this. However, something like this can exist without being basically a nuisance. There are 2 types of nuisances. There's a nuisance per se, where something is a nuisance simply because it exists, or there is a nuisance by use. Now, there are other soccer or athletic complexes located in other places, and it depends on how they're operated. If this is operated well, it would not be injurious to the public health. It's simply a question of how is it going to be done. If it's done well, it's a benefit. If it's done poorly, it's a detriment. But that's the same with anything that one would choose to do. And Mr. and Mrs. Luna would like to make this a beneficial complex. Okay, how will the value of the area adjacent to the property be affected in a substantially adverse manner? I noticed when I looked through the file that some of the real estate people had opined that having a soccer area would be injurious. I guess my response to that is there's a soccer area in the Shipshawana, which I don't believe has affected the land use values around it. I don't see anyone complaining about that. There are other sports complexes. There's a rather large one down south in the south and west, and there's another one there in Shipshawana at the Cove. And the mere fact that it exists does not necessarily harm the adjacent value. Again, it's how it's done, not the fact that it exists. We find that same way. We find that same thing with agricultural buildings. I live very close to two large chicken houses. If they're done poorly, there's a problem. If they're done well, there isn't a problem. So I think the mere fact that it exists, it would exist as a soccer field, would not affect the property values. I know my grandson plays at a soccer area over in Napanee, where there are probably 15 to 20 different soccer fields of various sizes, depending upon the age of the children and the adults. Okay, and then we have how does the need for the variance arise from a condition that is peculiar to the property involved? Well, there is not a generally available soccer area right in that particular area. There, as the folks have noted, there's one in Mongo, there's one in Shipshawana, and they said there was a field there at the Spruer complex, but it doesn't seem to be used. So the fact that there are others in the county does not necessarily obviate the need for one here. And they've also raised here the issue that the strict enforcement would constitute an unnecessary hardship. And we've indicated that the property is too small for practical agricultural use. Someone raised the issue that, well, you could grow vegetables, but not everyone is set up to grow vegetables. It's very labor intensive and not everyone can do it. As far as using that as a agricultural area, I suppose you could make hay on it, but you'd have to be making an awful lot of turns with any kind of hay equipment. And it's also too small for livestock. How will the approval not interfere substantially with the comprehensive plan? Again, there's limited agricultural space in that part of the county, and the school properties that are still in existence are not available to the general public. The Lima School is gone. That's no longer available. Lakeland Schools does not make its properties available for people to use recreationally. Basically, this is an issue, again, of the objectors apparently say that this would be a detriment regardless of what it is. It is something like this is like anything else. It's only a detriment if it's done wrong. If it's done right, it's a benefit, and it's useful to the public and would be a benefit. Thank you.
So,
Gotta get up there.
yeah. Good evening. My name is Christian Granados, 9430 West Parker Street, Orland, Indiana. So everything he said is true. It's the way it's ran. And I'm a coach. I've coached at Berrien Springs, Michigan. I've coached at Prairie Heights. I've coached a semi-pro team, Fox United. They are now called United North. And he is correct. I grew up in this area. I went through high school, and then after high school, like for me, college was not possible just because of it was just difficult for me to get to college. So then to play soccer, I had to travel Elkhart, South Bend, and I lived in Orland. So an hour away for me to play soccer. Now I'm dealing with the next generation of soccer players because I'm as a coach, and these soccer players are asking like, where can we play? And I'm like, I'm working on something for you guys, because for me, my goal as a coach is I want these next generation of players to have more opportunities than I had. So the way it's ran is key, and I personally will be the one helping run this program. And I have all kinds of ideas. I don't know if we have time to go for it, but I just want you guys to see that I'll be the one to face that's kind of be running this. I have a network of coaches, and I know they're all ready for this. Like I said, I've contact with all kinds of players of all ages. So just want to let you guys know that I would be the one kind of running it, the programs and the leagues and all that stuff.
So you said your name is Christian?
Christian Granados.
And
Yes.
how are you, what's your relation with the landowner?
So I am a family friend, but basically I kind of consider him as like an uncle because he grew up next to me. So he's kind of kind of to me like an uncle.
Okay.
Yep.
And how will that relation between the landowner and you, how will that come together? And if this variance passes, how will that look in the future?
So in the aspect of like how operations will be ran, or
Operations and ownership, yes.
operations. So yeah, we have already talked about it. He is the whole owner of the land. Like, so already, like I'm in the process of creating a team myself, and he has already worked out with me. Like he says, hey, for helping me out, I'm going to let you kind of use my field for a season. And I really appreciate that. So I'm all like, he is the whole owner. It's his rules, what he says goes. And then I'm just there to support, putting together leagues, putting together programs, camps for the youth, for these players that, I don't want to really see them traveling to play competitive soccer hours away and all that.
So right now you are actively coaching.
Yeah.
What team and what group and where?
Okay, so I just recently finished the season at Prairie Heights as a high school coach. Right now I'm coaching at the team I created. The objective is to make it semi-pro. I called it Indishigan FC. And right now we had a session out in Angola, Indiana. Tomorrow we're having another practice at Orland Park in Orland, Indiana. I'm having a lot on social media. I've already created a page for it, and I'm having a lot of positive interaction with it. A lot of feedback back from the community, the soccer community especially. This is awesome, great. They love it. And then I also do coach on the side goalkeepers. I'm with the international goalkeeper academy called Just for Keepers. Their headquarters is out in England, and I am in partnership with them. Like I kind of I'm helping them kind of branch out more out here in this area. I'm the J4K keeper of Northeast Indiana. Like that's my area that the guy in England kind of gave to me.
England, the country.
Yes.
Okay.
England, the country. Yes.
Anything else? Anybody else want to speak in favor of this petition tonight?
For now.
Anybody want to speak against this petition tonight?
There'll be two of us speaking. Hi, Larry Hall, 1890 East, 150 North, LaGrange, Indiana. There's a group of us on 200 East, 150 North, and a few other associated folks in the county that have saw what Mr. Luna wants to do, and we have a different idea. We don't agree with it. We see that we're trying to come together with one voice here. That we're trying to shoehorn a soccer field in between multiple rural residences that are just, just jammed in there together. We talked to two of our local real estate agencies. They were very open and honest. This is going to hurt our property values. We don't feel that one neighbor should be allowed to hurt the other. Mr. Muntz, he mentioned if it's done well. Well, how do we know it's going to be done well? We contend that it's just going to be detrimental with the influx of traffic. We're going to have semi-pro, amateur, and youth leagues, it sounds like, at some point. So semi-pros and amateurs, we're talking driving age individuals. We're going to see a lot more traffic come into the county that has no benefit. But does it bring value to the county? I don't think so. It puts a lot more congestion on the highways. Yeah, this is not my forte here, guys. But there's a couple statements in here that we really are kind of concerned about. Mr. Luna states that the neighbors are in favor of this. No, we're not. And there's a number of us, and a number of us have never been asked. Never been asked. That bothers me. And then he's told a couple of our neighbors that he's just going to do this, and he already had permits, didn't need anything else, or didn't need permits, had permission from the county. He was going to go right ahead and do this and start a dirt work with no county permits. So when Mr. Muntz says, well, it's okay if it's done well, okay. I've already got two statements that really concern me about the ability or intention to do it well. I'll go on to our points. Mr. Luna's intention to create a private soccer complex caters to semi-pro, amateur, and youth teams will create a large influx of out-of-area non-resident folks into our county roads and on our roads. LaGrange County does not have a semi-pro soccer team, so each and every event would be out of town folks. The amateur soccer teams will also consist of driving age. Mr. Luna says it will not be injurious to public health. I think number one covers that. And one of the other comments, there is a private, I called our sheriff, Tracy Harker, said, hey, Tracy, why do they want this private? And he said, well, I don't know, but there is a private soccer field south of Mongo. And he says, we've received multiple call outs for alcohol infractions, and in particular, underage drinking. And I said, well, we've done some investigation. We've got Spruer Park that the field is virtually unutilized. I called those folks and they said, yep, we have a beautiful youth soccer field right there. I said, has Mr. Luna or anybody ever volunteered or called to ask to use the field if there's such a glaring need for it? He says, no, never. So, okay. It's just to me, it's not good for the community. Okay. And number three, the particular statement that Mr. Luna said that the neighbors are okay with it. That created a lot of heartburn. There's a large number of us that are not in agreement with this. And there's 6 families. An additional one got added on yesterday that owns land across the street. But there's 6 of us, and I want to call that out. It's Dane McCann and Desiree Lippincott. Kenneth and Marianne Borkolder. Kenneth was going to be here. They just had a brand new baby and they're sick. And then Kim Emery, William and Linda Maines, Larry and Jody Hall, Mark and Clara Atwater. We are all right there. And that's who we talked to, the real estate professional, and said, hey, is this going to affect our home values? It was a resounding yes. That concerns me. Mr. Luna, he also a lack of soccer fields in the county. Spruer Park sitting empty. Took 5 minutes on a phone call. I called Delt Church Park. I said, I called it LaGrange County Park. I said, hey, where can we have soccer tournaments and games in this county on a park? Said the grassy center area at Delt Church would have the size, space, and facilities. So Spruer Park's 1.6 miles from the proposed site. Delt Church is like 8.7. The private soccer fields in Mongo are 9. Shipshawana is about 9. So there are multiple soccer fields available, not being fully utilized. Okay. I say a couple of us have been monitoring the little park there at Spruer. last 10 days, we've seen 5 kids and 2 adults on it. So not much utilization. Again, I see he says it's not fit for practical agricultural use. We talked to somebody at the Small Family Farm Conference, said absolutely. There's a significant need and a market outlet in this county for various types of crops could produce $2,000 to $5,000 an acre on a piece that size. So, yeah, can you run a big John Deere in there? No, but can you practically farm it and produce income? Yes, you can. And again, Mr. Luna states there's limited recreational space in the county. And again, okay, recreational space, I go right back to Spur Park, Ontario Park, Howe Park. There's multiple in the northern part of the county. I don't know if it's suitable for their purposes, but it's there. Yeah, we've seen no hours of operation. So, night lights, we're going to see that. Are these going to be porta potties if they put this in? Will we have real restrooms? Are we going to have water supply? How are they going to handle the heavy playing use on that sandy ground in there? Is it going to be irrigated? You're never going to keep grass in there if you don't. Okay. Then you're going to erode both Kenny and Kim and Desiree's place. Oh, let's see. And food trucks. I see that. Are we going to have food trucks? Is alcohol going to be available? I see nothing that answers this. And you look at 44 players. If you got both fields, I'm sorry, a little dry. I'm not used to talking so much anymore. But if you have 44 players on the field at driving age, the parking and the traffic congestion is going to be very, very difficult to handle. So after this, this is not my forte. I don't like to be here doing this, but I feel it's necessary for our neighborhood. We're just a bunch of folks out in the country. We moved there for a reason. We want to live in a quiet rural area, and we'd like to keep it that way. Particularly without an outside influence and potential safety risk. And Desiree, before I burn up all the time, I know you want to speak.
I'm Desiree. I live right next to where the entrance and exit would be for the soccer field, and then the parking lot would be right behind my house. So I'd be completely surrounded by this thing. I think Larry practically covered everything that I would need to talk about. I'm just worried about, the late nights. I have little kids. I have a big dog, things like that. It's pretty quiet around there too, and I really like that. And I don't think that I would like all the noise or the lights, music, all that stuff late at night. But other than that, that's my concerns. But he covered everything else, so that's all I gotta say.
Anybody else want to speak against this petition tonight?
Jean Licky, 2895 South, 150 North. We're just to the east of the intersection of 150 and
Can you say your
200.
address again? Because I don't think that was right. South 200 East. Is that
What did I say?
South 150 North?
North 150 South. I'm not used to this either. Too many directions here. All right, we live east of 200. I'll just leave all the X's and O's off. Anyways, we're just east of it. And there's a 4-way stop. And the stop signs are just a suggestion. I'll just put it that way. No one stops. In fact, it's almost fun when I'm leaving to pull up there and to wait to see who's coming so I can make them stop. And that sounds ridiculous, but it's the truth. It's a racetrack in the evenings, especially in the summertime, going up and down 200 and on 150, coming over the hill by our house. Speed limits are, again, a suggestion. There's Amish everywhere, but they're very concentrated out there. Lots of kids on bikes, little school buggies, walking to church down the middle of the road. And of course, that's not every day of the week, but why someone hasn't gotten injured seriously around there, we can't figure it out. So to have any kind of increase in traffic, these roads can't handle it. They're crumbling away down the sides, 150 in particular. You can't, it just boggles me to think there'd be even more than what's normally there for people coming to and from work or to and from Lakeland to school. And if you add on to that, particularly after dark at night, to me, it just creates a very dangerous situation in an area where already is kind of, we may or may not pay attention to the rules, the speed limits, whatever, people that go through there. It's just reality. It's the way it is. We pull out of our driveway and you got to go fast before they come over the hill. And that's just the reality of there. So we're extremely concerned about an increase in their defense. I mean, they have people that come in and we're just going to come and play soccer and leave, but they are not their parents. They're not going to control them. They can't do anything with them as they come in or they go out on the roads. So they can't dictate how you should act on the road coming and going. So you have adults playing a sport. I'm ticked off at this guy over here, and I can just, and I shouldn't do that, but you can't help but see kind of the handwriting on the wall with some of the traffic concerns, that type of activity. That's my husband's biggest one, and others too. It just seems for a tight little row of houses in the middle of agricultural land, it seems like an unusual place to put something like that. So, thank you.
Anybody else want to speak against this petition tonight?
Josh Lonsberry, 2880 East, 150 North. I live just east of where they're proposing this. But I want you guys to ask yourself, if this was your neighborhood, do you want more traffic? Do you want something built like this we're going to bring out-of-towners in and build a soccer field for out-of-towners. So we're going to bring more traffic to our neighborhood, maybe not yours, but ours. Like Kim stated, on crumbling roads and hilly roads with Amish kids. Just ask yourself that. That's all I got to say.
Anybody else want to speak against this petition tonight?
Harvey W. Yoder, 1095 East, 150 North.
What's your
LaGrange,
name again?
Indiana. What's that?
What's your name again?
Harvey W. Yoder. I live in 150 North, west of there, of 200. Where this is going, they use my road for a racetrack the way it is.
What's your address, though?
1095 East, 150 North. And I've said something to a county sheriff already, and he said, we're loaded the way it is. He says, I don't know what to do. And I said, well, I got an empty driveway up there you can sit in. He's like, I can't. He says, we got to go where we are called to go. He said, we've got our hands full. So I was not at the building over at the county building. I just talked to him in person. And I am concerned about how they go flying down through there. We moved there, I say 29 years ago. And we hardly had any trash beside the road. Now we pick up trash every time we go mow. We never had any trash there for the first 10 years we lived there. And you can ask anybody who lives down that road, there's always trash to be picked up. I'm not saying where it comes from, but I did personally see it. So, and like they said, I don't want more traffic going up and down that road. We have a motorcycle that runs through there 90, 100 miles an hour all the time. I know what's going to happen. We have cars going through there. Once they cross my bridge, it's hammered down all the way. You can hear them down at the other corner. And I guess what I'm trying to say is just, it's not my thing to be up here, but what I'm trying to say is I don't want it. Simple as that. Thank you.
Anybody else want to speak against this petition?
Kim Emery, 1630 North, 200 East. I'm opposed on this. They don't respect us now. They have four-wheelers out there, cars out in that field. Kenny and Mary Jane, who live behind me, who their field is a horse field, which they want to put that soccer field right up against Kenny and Mary Jane's horse field. They're racing up and down with the four-wheelers, have no respect for behind Kenny's house. That's not their land. So there's already disrespect there. And racing the cars from their house, dual cars over that hill. Kenny Burkholder's already been hit, not by them, but another vehicle, right coming out of his driveway. And, you know, he was almost killed.
Are you saying they're racing on their own ground or they're racing?
No, on the road.
The road? And you said the four-wheelers, they're driving their four-wheelers on their own ground?
No, they're around me and Kenny. They're on their ground at first, but then they come around and back of Kenny and then come on Kenny's side of the house and on the road. So there's already disrespect there. I just had back surgery in May, and I had to call the police because they were racing up and down the road with the four-wheelers. So there's already disrespect for the neighbors. I'm just concerned there's going to be more. That's it.
If they're short, maybe one or two more. Anybody else want to speak against this petition? Mr. Muntz, do you want to respond?
Well, we're not here to deal with personalities and character assassination, so I trust that we can ignore these last comments. Again, we are looking at an issue of how something is done. This is the first step. Obviously, in order to develop the property, there are more requirements to be met, such as the restrooms, parking, etc. When we bring up the issue of traffic, well, we don't know what traffic might be associated with this and what traffic might be associated with usual everyday activities out in that area. They speak of, well, the sheriff is upset about Mongo. Well, we're sorry the sheriff is upset about Mongo. How someone else chooses to operate their facility does not bear on this facility. As I said before, I live near two very large chicken houses. If they're not operated properly, I have a problem out on my farm with those chicken houses. But if they're operated properly, they don't bother me. Again, it's how it's done, not the fact that it exists. We also talk about things in Shipshewana. I believe that the Shipshewana field belongs to the West End Soccer League, and I believe they control everything. I don't know. I don't believe that is available to the public. So I understand that that folks are upset about this situation. However, as the coach indicated, this is something that could be a great benefit to the community. The fact that folks might be coming in here from out of town is not a reason to deny it. That harkens back to what I hear every time we see something on one of the lakes. Those are people on our lake. Well, that's not appropriate. What we're dealing with here, again, is that this is a proposed facility that will provide tourism, recreation, and a benefit to the community. Thank you.
Mr. Mons, a minute.
Yeah.
Some other questions that were raised that weren't answered was there was a significant concern for traffic and the quality of the road. Can you address that?
Well, I guess that depends on what what use there is. I don't know that I don't.
It seems like Christian is a very well-versed coach, and he already coaches varsity at Prairie Heights.
Yeah.
Seems to have a pretty well-established league in Orland, and he's in very good terms with people in other countries as far as soccer programs go. So it seems like he would need a pretty nice establishment for potential of a lot of people. What is there any traffic concerns?
Well, I don't know that County Road 200 East is. I guess it's about the equivalent of any other county road in the county.
And then there was another concern that brought. I'm just writing these down so there's no back and forth. That was concerned about alcohol. Is there no issue with alcohol? I mean, will it be prohibited on this property?
Well, I think that could be stated as a condition.
Well, I don't think that's a responsibility for this board. I think it's a responsibility for the landowner.
Well, a responsible landowner would I suppose he can control alcohol on the property just the same as you can on your property.
Another thing that the remonstrators brought up were the hours of operation. When will these players be on the field? Can you answer that, sir? Thank you.
So yeah, no, usually these semi-pro games, they're done in like midday because some of these teams that we'll be playing the leagues, they're from Chicago. So I mean, yeah, I can understand why they'd be afraid, but I did a season and the players that showed up, very respectful players because this is semi-pro. This is like serious, these are not like the ideas. We're not like when the whole thing about Mongo. I don't agree with it. I want to do a better league with that kind of quality players. The hours again, it's like midday, and I don't really see it being right now. There's no lights, so I don't really see it going past 7, 8. Just because there's no stadium lights, so we're only to the mercy of the sun.
No lights.
That's all I had to be addressed. But I do have more questions once the public hearing's over.
Right.
You guys good right now?
Mm-hmm.
We'll close the public hearing.
Thank you.
Okay. I've got more questions for you guys, Mr. Munson, Christian. The Spruer Park was brought up, that new field that they put down there. They got restrooms, they got all kinds of good stuff down there. Have you guys explored what it looks like to use that as a field and maybe set up a relationship with them and yeah, what'd you find?
So where is this field at?
It's right there by the subway. It's where the baseball fields are there. Yeah. It has plenty of parking and everything.
Yeah. So I did drive by it. It's very small.
Is it too small?
I think it's too small. And the goals,
Child size.
it's like very child size. It is. It's very for youth. And I thought they were going to make an indoor facility there. And that was exciting to hear when I first heard about what they were going to do. And then it turned into a park. And I think an indoor facility would have been awesome too. But no, I think that's that for the semi-pro stuff. That's too small.
Okay. What size is a semi-pro field?
We're looking at 300 by 195.
Okay. Do you have any idea what size this field is at Spruer Park? Did you step it off at all?
I didn't check it like now, but,
Okay.
but like I said, just from a distance, it's not enough space.
So a semi-pro field is 300 by 90,
300 feet by 195.
195, okay. So we can't really make a decision until we know that that field's not big enough, because the optical can be an illusion, so. I know Delt Church has got its own situation. You'd have to chalk the lines every time. I don't know, does Spur Park chalk their lines regularly or not? But it could be a relationship that you would set up to have the lines chalked, and then they could utilize it. And that would be in downtown LaGrange. It would be great for the youth.
I've not heard that they are, they have a field that is suitable for adults.
Yeah, okay.
I know they're not, from what I've heard, they're concentrating on pickleball rather than soccer.
What about the one in Mongo? Someone was saying there's one in Mongo too.
Sorry,
check.
There is one.
Unofficially, no.
Yeah.
The one in Mongo. Did you guys check into that one?
Yeah, so I know the owner. I played there. I was a player there. Yeah, like it's a dead end league. It did help me develop there because I was like young, 18, playing against older, right? But no, that's why I don't like it, the alcohol thing, because the owner allows alcohol and adult players go there to relax, and after the game they have their beers and stuff. And for me, no, like I said, like it's about the game. For me, it's the game, the passion for the game. Like alcohol, no, like. But
On a weekly basis, how often would this happen?
I mean, we do have our probably weekends would be the games most likely. So Fridays, Saturdays, and then training sessions in the week, Tuesdays, Thursdays. But that's all that depends on the registrations and all that. The kind of interest that comes in of players, variety of players.
Christian, I'm very impressed with your passion for soccer, what you've all been involved in. I believe you do have a bright future for those who are interested in soccer and getting those interested in soccer. Me, myself, I've never been interested in soccer, but when my 8-year-old boy says he wants to play, we go and play. The last couple of years, he's been playing in Shipshe at the West End Soccer League. Lot of big field out there, a lot of soccer goals, sizes for the kids and larger sizes. I don't know if there's one there that would be a semi-pro size. I know Lakeland has began to make an attempt at camps, years ago when they first developed their soccer program, which was 25 years ago. It's not that old. It takes a lot of room, and I just did a quick math on what we're working with here. In my understanding, the entire property is about just shy of 4 acres, and a full-size soccer field's 1.34 acres. And Shipshe over there, it is in an A2 zone, but it is surrounded by residential zoning. The actual soccer complex sits on 17 acres, and then there's 9.5 acres available for parking. And on Saturdays when it's full, and I mean full because I've been there, that parking is very full. And you're looking at something that it's encompassing 25 plus acres. And my concern is if you are successful in bringing in semi-pro teams, but they probably come on buses. Am I
Some come on in small mini buses.
Mini buses, or even driving themselves. And if they do drive themselves, we're looking at 20, 25 cars for a bare minimum team. And in my opinion, I don't feel that we have enough ground. I love your dream, but I don't think there's enough ground here to fulfill it or even get it started. And that's my fear, because what I like to see when great ideas like this come to this board is it kills me to give someone a variance on something that is too small for their dream. And I'm not saying you need to go build a 25-acre soccer complex to get started, but don't start on 4 acres where you're going to be hung by the noose by the time you start. And I would love to see, potential. I mean, you can see the authenticity, the energy, the desire that you have and are willing to share, with people around the world in this community, and even as far as Chicago and some of our bigger local cities. And I don't see how this 4 acres is the beginning. That's my opinion.
I agree with a lot what Tyler said with his passion, his dream, and what he's done. This area I don't think this is the right area. I think you need more acreage. This is on top of several residences. But yeah, I applaud what you've done so far.
Thank you.
I have started a few businesses in my time, and one of the biggest killer roads is not enough room. And so that is, what'll happen here is the big dogs it's just not as good as what they have, and then they'll do less of it, and before long that'll be an empty field, as it is up on 3. And your passion is amazing. That's what it takes to start a business. That's what it takes to start this. Don't give up on that, but find a spot that you can stay and create your brand. So if you want to, I just don't know that this is the one. I don't know.
Any other discussion?
I agree with Tyler and you guys. It's a size element of the property. Location.
I think the size plus, I don't think you can ignore the neighbors.
No, we can't ignore the neighbors either. No.
Any other comments?
No, I understand. I understand what they're trying to do, but that was too small for what, yeah.
I don't think we have a lot of designated soccer fields. I think our community probably could use more. I get that. But I just don't think this is the right spot for me.
One of the ways that you may be able to turn this into something bigger is to go to a west edge, create a relationship there to where you can use their field and their facilities and create something big that you're not paying for. So.
Any other discussion? So,
The approval will not be injurious to the public health, safety, and general welfare of the community. Nick?
no.
David?
No.
Len?
No.
Tyler?
No.
Jerry?
No.
The use and value of the area adjacent to the property included in the variance will not be affected in a substantially adverse manner. Jerry?
No.
Tyler?
No.
Nick?
No.
David?
No.
Len?
No.
The need for the variance arises from some condition peculiar to the property involved. Len?
No.
David?
No.
Nick?
Yes.
Tyler?
Yes.
Jerry?
Yes.
The strict application of the terms of the zoning ordinance will constitute an unnecessary hardship if applied to the property for which the variance is sought. Nick?
No.
Tyler?
No.
Jerry?
No.
Lynn?
No.
David?
No.
The approval does not interfere substantially with the comprehensive plan. Lynn?
No.
David?
No.
Tyler?
No.
Nick?
No.
Jerry?
No.
Your petition's been denied on A, B, C, and check A, B, D, and E. Your petition's been denied. Thank you.
So we're gonna move on to Newberry Township, section 13, township 37 north, range 8 east. It's zone A2. It's located at 1915 north, 675 west, Shipshewana. It's a land use variance for a health supplement supply and consulting business in the A2 zoning district. Here's our drawing. Here's our parcel. This is the building they're using. They're proposing a small addition here. Do you have a representative? Can you give your name and address, please?
Yep. My name is Ben Stanley with Surveying and Mapping LLC, located at 2810 Dexter Drive in Elkhart. This site is a 15-acre site located, as she said, at 1915 North, 675 West, near Shipshewana, zoned A2, which is rural and business and industrial zoning. The owners of the property, Nelson and Mary Miller, are here with me this evening. They reside at the residence and would like to continue operating a small health supplement retail business that also has a consulting component. That consulting portion is not permitted in the Unified Development Ordinance. The consulting component, by the way, is from what I'm told, 4 full days a week, 4 full days a month, and 4 half days a month, approximately, by appointment only. So, pretty small. This business exists to improve the health and welfare of the public. It's been in operation for 5 to 6 years. The building was built for that purpose. It's been used for that purpose. Without any complaint from surrounding property owners, to our knowledge. It is low impact business. It does not have high traffic flows or intrusive signage. In fact, you can't even, I mean, if you were driving by, you wouldn't even know there was a business there. There's no sign out by the road anywhere that's visible from the road. So therefore, it's not really negatively impacting any of the surrounding properties. The retail use and other existing uses for the property are appropriate for the zoning district. The existing A2 zoning is the most appropriate zoning for this property. The owner asks that you approve the use variance so that they can continue operating this essential service for the benefit of the community. Thank you.
Anything else?
That's all I got.
Anybody else want to speak in favor of this petition tonight?
So my name is Mary Miller. I and my husband own this company, this property. I live at 1915 North, 675 West. Like he said, we live on this property. I've lived there for 9 years. Nelson's been there longer. So what started as a hobby has actually turned into a business. The guy that spoke previously said that the business or the building was built for this business. It actually wasn't. It was built to, when we built it, it was to host church services and roller buggies and bikes. But the business has moved in, and it's just, it's grown over the years, and it's time to add some offices and a bathroom. There was never a bathroom in the business, so that was our main thing. So.
How long, when did the business begin and how long have you been doing this building?
So I've been doing it in this building, like it started one day out of a month in 2019. So, yeah, we'd use it for one day and then it wasn't used until a month later. Retail, where people would actually walk in to buy products, I believe was in either 2020, 2021.
Is this a full-time business for you now?
It's a full-time business for me, yes.
And just you?
So I employ 3 girls. all part-time. Mostly there's one, sometimes two people working in the retail area, but I do employ 3 different girls who are there at different times. Like they're not all there at the same time usually.
Okay.
But yeah, basically it's my business and I'm the one working the retail part. I don't do the consulting. We rent those offices out.
Okay, do you have someone that comes in for the
I
consulting?
do.
Okay, and that's the 4 part days and 4 full days?
Mhm.
Okay.
Mhm.
And where are they from?
One is from Kentucky, one from Ohio, and one lives local.
Okay, are they doctors or are they
They are not. They are, in my terms, herbalists.
herbalists? Okay.
Mhm.
Yeah, I'm
Do you have anything else you want to share?
I don't.
I'm sure we'll have questions.
Mhm. Okay.
Does anybody else want to speak in favor of this petition tonight? Anybody want to remonstrate against this petition tonight? We'll close the public hearing. So what prompted this?
The addition to the building.
which is offices in
The
the bathroom.
And that's perfectly I mean, you can handle all that in permitting. It's the use that the only thing that's, you
Well,
know,
they have to have a state design release. It's a commercial facility. We had to go through Jason for that, or the building department for that.
just the
Yeah.
addition part.
Nope, the whole
The whole
building,
thing.
because it's retail,
So they came in to pull another permit and
for
then.
a addition, and that's when.
mhm, the
So
whole
we've
thing.
So they've been operating when they probably shouldn't.
Legal non-conforming.
Yeah.
Define consulting for me. What's
So-
going on?
Consulting is where somebody will have an appointment and they'll sit in front of one of these ladies and share their health concerns. And then they'll advise them what to use as far as herbs to better their health.
Is there any medical supervision at all then?
There is not.
There's not. Okay. And you have.
But we
multiple-
also don't use any medical, like it's all strictly herbs that we use.
Oh, I got you. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm a doctor, so I think there should be medical supervision of all that, but multiple brands of supplements? Or do you concentrate on one
Pretty much one brand.
brand?
I
Okay.
mean, there are a few different things that we get from different companies, but mostly it's one brand.
Okay. Okay. So give me an example of something that you would put somebody on, just out of curiosity. Say if I came in and I had gout or something. I don't know.
So, one thing that we use a lot of is a liquid magnesium. I mean, I probably wouldn't use that for gout,
No.
but we do use a lot of liquid magnesium.
Okay.
But most of the products that we use are all strictly what I call a tinctured herb, like a liquid herbal medicine.
Mhm.
And it just, it would depend on what you're dealing with as far as to what we would recommend that we use.
It's similar to Northern Nutrition, then I would think, or not.
Yes and
tell
no.
me. Okay.
I mean, maybe kind of the same idea, but they, like Northern Nutrition, and we're personally friends. We buy from Northern Nutrition, they buy from us.
Sure. Okay. That's fine. I
You're
would think
both
so.
wholesalers of different brands.
We are.
Yeah.
Mhm.
What, on one of your busy days, then how many people are in and out of your facility at any one time?
So on the busiest days, there would be about 20 people in and out, not there at the same time.
Mhm.
Like this is all scheduled, so there's one client and she may or may not bring along a child or a spouse. But one person on the busiest day coming and going, there would be max 20.
Do you have, those are appointments, but you also have people stopping to buy stuff
For the
as well.
retail area, yes.
Combined. like on a consulting day and a retail day? Like, because it can overlap.
Oh, yeah. And they do sometimes.
Yeah. How many vehicles?
How many
On a
vehicles?
busy day, how many vehicles?
Between the two,
Okay,
altogether.
so,
or probably bikes.
I mean, we've had 5 or 6 buggies there at one time, and we've had 4, 5, and 6 vehicles there, like all at one time. They come and go. But max, I would say, yeah, max, and that would be very seldom that we would have 8, 9, 10 vehicles there.
So what happens if this turns into an ENS the second?
And ENS the second.
Or even a Northern Nutrition. I mean, that's a
Right,
busy
right.
place.
So let's
That's a
let's say
busy
Northern
That
place.
is, yeah.
So what happens if this turns into that? How do you support it with the roads and, are you concerned at all about
Or
that?
would you want to get bigger than what this proposal is?
That is not my goal. That is not our goal.
Condition in place.
Were this to turn into a Northern Nutrition, it's actually gonna have to be somebody else doing it. But there is a 3-acre field to the south of us. But that is not my plan at all. We are growing it, I mean, we are moving into retirement or something close to that. So we're actually not looking to grow, but we are looking to, honestly, this was never my plan to go this big, but here we are.
Did you already close the public meeting?
I did.
Okay.
I closed the public meeting, right?
Yeah.
So the question I have is, would it be out of place here to put this owner and no further expansions after this expansion on this property?
I think I would do no further expansion.
Yeah.
I don't think the other two because of how adapted our ordinance is now.
Gotcha.
For a small business. See, the only reason they're coming in for the variance, if I'm correct, is that they're having outside consultants coming in.
Yeah.
So they're not getting the variance to have a business there. They're having a variance for outside consultants. They originally built the building for church. Now they've got a church building. It could be a church building in the future with a bathroom in it.
Mhm.
So that's basically all we're doing is adding bathrooms and consultants. So I would agree with the no further expansion, as she said herself. If something grew to a size that would be more appropriate in town. But that's answer your question.
I agree with that.
You would want to sell it eventually, I would think, wouldn't you? Down the road or something like
It's in
that?
God's hands. I have no idea.
No. Okay.
But yeah, I mean, we are not young anymore. Let's face it.
Repeat it, Lynn. Repeat it.
Neither am
So
I.
I would like to propose a condition on this, that after the expansion that they've applied for, it does not ever grow again.
Second.
We have a motion and a second for no further expansion. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Those same sign, condition carried. Any other discussion? You guys good down there?
Yeah.
Okay. Let's have a vote.
The approval will not be injurious to the public health, safety, and general welfare of the community. Jerry,
Yes.
Tyler,
Yes.
Nick,
Yes.
David,
Yes.
Len.
Yes.
The use and value of the area adjacent to the property included in the variance will not be affected in a substantially adverse manner. Nick,
Yes.
Len,
Yes.
David,
Yes.
Jerry,
Yes.
Tyler.
Yes.
The need for the variance arises from some condition peculiar to the property involved. Tyler,
Yes.
Len,
Yes.
David,
Yes.
Nick,
Yes.
Jerry.
Yes.
The strict application of the terms of the zoning ordinance will constitute an unnecessary hardship if applied to the property for which the variance is sought. Jerry,
Yes.
Tyler,
Yes.
Nick,
Yes.
David,
Yes.
Len.
Yes.
The approval does not interfere substantially with the comprehensive plan. Len,
Yes.
Gary,
Yes.
David,
Yes.
Tyler,
Yes.
and Nick.
Yes. Your petition's been approved. Thanks for coming in.
Thank you.
So our next one on the agenda is another land use variance. It's Newberry Township, section 11, township 37 north, range east. It's zoned to B2. It's located at 2985 North State Road 5, Shipshewana. They're asking for a land use variance to have large animals in the B2 zoning district. Here's the parcel.
David Bontrigger. My address is 62021 State Road 13 in Goshen, Indiana. And about as simple as that, we're just looking to add a little pole barn, 30 by 40, to have a horse on the property. An Amish couple bought it and they wanted to have a horse to use for whatever we use it for, transportation and stuff.
So are you the builder?
I'm just applying for the permits for
You're
him.
applying for the permits, okay.
He wants to build it himself.
Okay. Is he here tonight?
No, he's not.
Okay.
Okay.
You have anything else to add?
Not that I know of, no.
Anybody else want to speak in favor of this petition tonight? Anybody want to remonstrate against this petition tonight? Close the public hearing.
So the owner's not here.
Nope.
Then did the owner, so you don't know whether the owner checked if he could have a horse here or not?
No, what was that again?
The horses, large animals are not
Yeah.
permitted in a B2
Correct.
zone.
Correct.
Did he check to see if he could have a horse there before he purchased the property?
No.
Okay.
When did you buy it?
When did he buy the property?
Just this fall. I mean, summer, fall.
I also noticed there, I believe there's chickens being raised on the property. Is that correct? Or do you know? You probably don't know anything, do you?
Well, probably not enough.
Probably, no, you don't. Because I saw dogs in pens,
Yeah.
2 of them. I saw
He is
chickens
not
and,
living there yet,
well,
so it must have been the previous owner, but yeah.
okay.
I mean,
I don't think any of that would be allowed in
Okay.
this.
That's a large animal.
Well, no, it's not a large animal, but I don't think you can have chickens in the P2 zone either, can
Okay.
you? Yeah.
Okay.
Since he's not here, are we gonna postpone this? Or,
No, I don't think so.
no? Okay.
He knew the meeting was tonight.
Yeah, I did not realize the homeowner needs to be along. So that's my apologies.
As long,
for
I
that.
think as long as there's, as long as there's someone, to represent.
For us, we like to see the
It always helps.
owner because
Okay.
for
Well,
me, it seems it's important to them.
yeah. No, I'm with you there. I'm just young and trying to learn here.
No, I get it. I get it.
So when I look at this property, it is landlocked between businesses, right? Like, so it and the property just, what is it? South of it?
Yeah.
There's 2 residential properties and everything else is businesses all the way around it.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I don't know how, if we put horses, a horse or horses, I don't know, it says large animal, but how many, does a large animal variance allow? And would we have to put a what? Yeah, would we have to restrict it to where it would only be 1 horse? 1 large animal over 200 pounds or something like that?
I believe his questionnaire said 1 horse. I believe
yeah.
it did.
But we'd have to put a restrictor on there, otherwise it would be allowed more than that, right? If we would just
Correct.
give a variance? Okay.
Yes, you're right.
The house is there and it's in good shape, so it's not going anywhere for a while, unless a business buys it and rips it all down and puts a business up there.
Well, you could run a business out of it too.
You could, yeah, you could.
See, that's why all this B3 property is there for business.
I know,
We had this
yeah.
discussion at Plan Commission a few nights ago,
Mhm.
a couple weeks, about a little over, well, 1 week ago, about business ground needing to remain business ground.
Mhm.
Because Shipshewana is full of businesses, and this would be an ideal location for a business in Shipshewana, as would the property to the south. Those two residential areas there.
Isn't something peculiar with this property is this one and the one directly to the south is on an island with county addresses here?
But the town said they're in the process of annexing it.
Annexing this property?
Yeah, that's what the,
But it's not right now, I guess,
Correct.
but it is just these two addresses, right? Which is very odd to me.
But
It's an
Shipshewana has a
island.
lot of that.
Yeah,
A big one parcel amongst corporate limits that's county.
unbelievable to me.
well, things slip through. It's been be due for a long time.
How many acres is this lot?
2.06, according to Beacon.
So between the two, that's 3 acres total. But
Well,
that's
yes,
part of this one.
yeah,
The one to the south there is what you're talking
yes.
about.
It's just slightly under
That'd
an
be the
acre.
same,
3 acre window, that's part of county.
same zoning.
Yes, it's
Yeah.
the same zoning as to the east as well and to the north.
And the one to the south has a horse.
West is all U1. That's urban residential.
Yeah.
So horses, large animals are not allowed over there either.
Lynn, did you hear what Jerry said?
No, I did
One
not.
to the south has a horse. It was out there by that barn. That's the horse barn.
But I don't doubt you. I don't doubt that. That would be a legal non-conforming use. I wouldn't vote to put a horse on a B2, U1, L1, S1, B2, B3, B4. No, it's not where they belong. But that's just my opinion.
I definitely would agree with that. Shipsheet is different than a lot of places.
Then they can secede from the county. I know you live over there. It doesn't matter to me. It could be the county as well.
They do put a horse on a little bit of no spot over there.
A little bit of no spot. There you go.
Yeah.
The planning and zoning falls under the county. They don't have.
Yeah, right.
The top, well, the west side, but Shipsheet in general creates a lot of interesting problems.
Yes.
But it's just different for us.
The town board did approve it. One
Yeah.
horse.
The town board did?
Yeah, Terry
So
sent.
Shipsheet gave it a thumbs up.
Even though it's not in the county, or even though it is in
It's
the,
not the town.
it's not in the town.
Well, that's why we're dealing with it, is because it's the two addresses that are in the county.
No.
Well, no, we
No,
would
we
have
would've
dealt
done
with
Okay,
it.
we would've dealt with it. So
They don't have their own.
the only reason why I can see through this at all, Lynn, is because of the use of the property behind it. But I think the only way that I could see it is with a condition with this use, this owner. Because,
The one horse.
yeah. This use, this owner, and one horse. No
Well,
animal.
if so that what that does in a previous person pointed this out to me, that makes it impossible. Well, they would have to come back to us to sell it then.
To sell it?
Yes.
buyer.
The buyer would have to come back to us to keep a horse there.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. So that would mean that if these people ever sold it, that it would go back to the B1 status of no animals. And they would again have to ask.
Which I think is fine.
You know, I mean, I get stubborn sometimes, and I'm getting stubborn on this
I
one.
get it.
Yeah.
I do.
That's why there's 5 of us. You're fine. So somebody else make the condition. I've already made one.
Is that your limit for the night?
That's my limit.
I used to do more than one all the time. Come on, man. Well, I'll make a condition to limit this parcel to one large animal. And this use and this owner.
Second.
We have a motion, a second, one large animal, this owner, this use only. All in favor, say aye.
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 For Jerry.
Strike that from the record.
Condition carries. Any other discussion?
The only thing I'll have to say is, I understand our Amish community, relies on horse transportation. I also understand our Amish community has, like all other communities, began to recede from agriculture to where their lifestyle no longer revolves around agriculture altogether. We've got a lot of great Amish builders. We've got a lot of great business. Lady from the last variance is not in here, but we got a lot of great businesses going on. And as we look to get into towns and into our suburban areas, we've gotta find a solution to this reliance on horse and buggies in the vicinity of towns. I was in South Carolina this past summer, and the town of Charleston requires horses in town to have polycarbonate shoes on to protect the roads in town. I don't think that's something that we need to move forward as a county, but those additional shoes on the road, they really are a detriment to our infrastructure. I seen one solution I saw while I was over at the soccer fields this summer. A lot of Amish are investing in e-bikes. You see an Amish guy zip by on 40 mile an hour on an e-bike. Pretty neat. You can get there a lot faster than a horse and buggy. And then you don't have to feed it nearly as much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that's one of the struggles I see as we try to jam these large animals into towns and business zones where we really don't have room for them anymore. But that's I just want to say that because it is an issue. It's going to it's never going to not be an issue as we become more and more suburban and living together in closer quarters.
Do you have any idea what he's going to do with the manure? You have no ideas or anything like that? No. Okay.
Throw it out in the field probably and use it on the garden, and one horse won't.
One horse makes 8
Yeah.
tons of manure in the course of a year.
Really?
Yeah, 8 tons.
Most of it will be on the streets of Shipshawana. Don't worry.
Yeah, right.
8 tons. Okay, 8 tons.
Gather that up.
8 tons. That's a bit much to put on your garden. I garden. Even my garden can't handle that.
Regardless if this variance goes your way or not, you may warn the homeowner, since they didn't check about a horse, they're not allowed to have chickens, raise dogs, or nothing like that either. So just warn them that, that way they're at least aware of that.
Right.
It sounds like they bought this thing without knowing.
Right.
That's a lot of money.
They did pay a lot of money for it,
Mhm.
according to Beacon, a lot. Well, Tri-County's got it right now. No comment on that. Okay.
Oh, you're not making that up.
Hmm?
You're not making that up.
What? How much they paid for it?
No, the horse manure.
No, I'm not making it up, man.
I looked it up.
I actually went to the Purdue website to do that. Can you imagine that?
It's hard to believe. It's 9.
Are you guys ready to call?
Well, 9. It
Yeah.
is 9. I underdid it because he's gonna be.
Call for a vote?
Yeah.
Midnight's coming.
The approval will not be injurious to the public health, safety, and general welfare of the community. Jerry?
Yes.
Tyler?
Yes.
Nick?
Yes.
David?
Yes.
Lynn?
Yes.
The use and value of the area adjacent to the property included in the variance will not be affected in a substantially adverse manner. Lynn?
No.
David?
Yes.
Nick?
Yes.
Tyler?
Yes.
Jerry?
Yes.
The need for the variance arises from some condition peculiar to the property involved. Nick?
Yes.
David?
Yes.
Tyler?
Yes.
Lynn?
Yes. Yes.
Jerry?
Yes.
The strict application of the terms of the zoning ordinance will constitute an unnecessary hardship if applied to the property for which the variance is sought. Tyler?
Yes.
Jerry?
No.
Lynn?
No.
David?
Yes.
Nick?
Yes.
The approval does not interfere substantially with the comprehensive plan. Tyler,
Yes.
Nick,
Yes.
Lynn,
No.
David,
Yes.
Jerry.
Yes.
Your petition's been approved. Thanks for coming in.
Thank you.
As I said, I'm young and learning, and they'll just get trees, the one.
But you throw them away.
You throw 'em
Yeah,
away
we
anyway.
do. We just make sure they're not
Thank you,
littering the
appreciate it.
countryside.
I could see it that way, though. That's a good thing.
So we're gonna move on. We're in Milford Township, section 29, township 36 north, range 11 east. It's zone A1. It's located at 7285 east, 650 south, Wilkeville. It's a conditional use variance for a short-term rental in the A1 zoning district. Here's the survey of the property.
No, that's a little lot.
A representative?
Yep.
Name and address.
Don Long, 7285 South, or East 650 South. I'd just like to use this house as a short-term rental for like an Airbnb, VRBO, just short-term like that. So I've ever did. I got another house I do that with. It works out really well. I've had long-term renters in my other house. It's more of a wreck. You always got to worry about them paying their bills. You got to worry about the lawn. You got to worry about everything here. Even with Airbnb, everything's covered. It's a 2-bedroom, 1 bath. It's not going to hold more than probably 5, 6 with children at the most. 2-bedroom, 2 adults and maybe 2 or 3 kids, I would guess at the most. That's my plan. That's what I go. I'm fixing it up. I'm investing a lot of money to make the house worth a lot more. I got a permit for that and doing all that as we speak, that's my agenda, what I want to do with it.
Anybody else want to speak in favor of this petition tonight? Anybody want to renounce or against this petition tonight? Yeah, Don, could you have a seat?
Mickey Stewart, 7185 East, 650 South, Wilkeville. I am up here. I believe earlier this week, you guys received a precursor of what I'm about to read. I'd like to let it be known, I just turned in our signed copy and I'm representing those signatures at the bottom. Dear members of the zoning board, we, the neighboring residents of Blackman Lake South Shore, wish to express our serious concerns regarding the operation of a short-term rental at the property located at 7285 East, 650 South. This property sits on a very small lot along a narrow, dead-end private gravel road that serves only 7 homes and a children's camp bunkhouse. The road is privately maintained by the children's camp, which surrounds this area. Our community and the camp share the small lakeside space closely, and during the summer months, a large number of children are present on campgrounds and along the road. The introduction of transient short-term tenants raises several significant issues related to safety, environmental protection, infrastructure, and neighborhood character. Number 1, private lake and environmental protection. Blackman Lake is a private lake with no public access. The residents of this lake community have worked hard to preserve its private status, even successfully opposing the installation of a public access point in the past. The privacy helps maintain the lake's natural beauty, tranquility, and ecological balance, protecting it from overuse, pollution, and shoreline damage. Allowing transient short-term tenants who do not share the same long-term stewardship of the lake could threaten this delicate environment and undermine years of preservation efforts. 2, proximity to children's camp. The property is immediately adjacent to camp facilities where children are active daily. The continual arrival and departure of unknown short-term tenants who have no relationship with camp or neighborhood creates an understandable safety concern for both residents and camp staff. 3, traffic and parking limitations. The gravel road serving this area is narrow, dead-end, and not designed for frequent turnover of visitors. The rental property offers very limited parking, and there's no public parking available nearby. There are legitimate concerns about guests parking in or driving through our private yards. 4, private road maintenance responsibility. The gravel road is privately maintained by the children's camp and not publicly funded. Increased traffic from short-term rental guests will add additional wear and tear to the road, causing higher maintenance needs than cost for camp alone is responsible for. This places an unfair burden on camp and surrounding neighbors for upkeep caused by transient visitors. Neighborhood character and security. The South Shore of Blackman Lake is a tight-knit, long-standing community where neighbors know one another and share a strong sense of trust. Many residents feel comfortable leaving doors unlocked and personal items outdoor. The frequent presence of unfamiliar short-term renters disrupts this sense of safety and could lead to increased anxiety and diminished peace of mind among us permanent residents. Lack of on-site oversight. The owners of 7285 East 650 South do not live immediately in the area, leaving no one nearby to monitor tenant behavior or quickly resolve issues. This creates potential problems with noise, parking violations, and general property use that may not align with expectations of the neighborhood or camp. For all these reasons, we respectfully ask that the zoning board to deny or restrict the use of 7285 East 650 South as a short-term rental property. Allowing transient lodging in such a small, private, environmentally sensitive area would have significant negative impact on community safety, infrastructure, and the preservation of the Blackman Lake's natural beauty. Thank you for your time in considering and protecting the well-being of our community and the children's camp that has long been a part of the fabric of Blackman Lake. Sincerely, the residents of Blackman Lake South Shore. Thank you.
Anybody else want to speak against this petition tonight?
Yes, hello. My name's Karen Kasperzak, and I live at 7255 East 700 South at the camp. I'm the camp director. When you look up at the drawing here, lot 6 is us. So this Airbnb, I love Airbnb, and I use it, but as a camp director, the proximity to the property and access to the kids is quite concerning. As the camp director, and we have a full-time staff member here with us tonight, we're writing to express our strong opposition to convert the property 7285 East 650 into from a single family dwelling to a short-term rental. The property is directly adjacent to the youth camp, shares driveway, as Mickey mentioned. And then just off this picture a little bit is where we do team building and children's programming. YMCA Camp Potawatomi serves thousands of children and families each year, from spring to fall. Our first responsibility for anyone on our property is to keep them safe, and to provide a structured environment where kids can learn, grow, and thrive. To ensure this, every staff member is background checked, every guest signs paperwork, and we have neighbors sitting right here. Any neighbor who is going to be on our property is also vetted and screened in a similar manner. We monitor our local and state offender registries to remain aware of who is surrounding us, and to make sure we're transparent with parents who are entrusting us with their children. So the transient and unregulated nature of a short-term rental directly undermines these safety goals we have for kids. As a camp staff, we would have no ability to know who's residing there from week to week at any given time, and it creates unnecessary risk. On the property currently, there are many access points from that particular property. Recent incidents across the state, including violence, drug-related use, and sexual offense, folks with sexual offense histories using Airbnbs. I think in the news recently in Fort Wayne, there was a big issue with an Airbnb as well. So that demonstrates that these concerns are not hypothetical, but legitimate concerns. The proposed property lies within 100 feet of program area, like I mentioned, and we share the road and boundaries. So YMCA Camp Potawatomi has been here for over 105 years, but we will be here for 400 more, so eventually 500 years. We've been active and responsible members of the Blackman Lake community and the LaGrange community. We collaborate with our neighbors, local authorities, and community members to create a safe and enjoyable environment on the lake for our neighbors. We have a strong track record of fostering these positive relationships and upholding safety for children and adults. We also note that many jurisdictions actually regulate short-term rentals in close proximity to schools and daycares and youth-serving facilities. We are not one of those jurisdictions, but recognizing it just elevates the safety concerns that a property like this can present. So for these reasons, we want to urge you to deny this zoning request to help us preserve safety and the property and the community out there. I have a letter that I'll submit, and then if you all, in your wisdom, decide to approve, I would like to speak about Indiana House Bill 1035, which allows municipalities to regulate short-term rentals, but I will save that for now.
My name's Adele Schwann, and I live at 40 Lane 110A, West Otter Lake. I am representing the YMCA Camp Potawatomi Board of Directors. There's 18 of us. In the interest of saving time, I won't read what you already have that was given to you, and it's signed by the board that reviewed it, and there may be some other letters specifically from certain board members. I only want to add to what Karen said a couple of things. Due to the violence in our country, schools, and in churches, parents are very concerned about safety. And over 3,000 children go through that campground in a year. There are 30 schools that come there for outdoor education. There's special camps for cancer kids, another one for the family members of people that are caregivers from cancer survivors. And it's a wonderful place to be. And the kids are around, they do things, they see things, they experience things, and it needs to be a safe place and a place you don't have to worry about somebody speeding down that road when the kids are crossing the street to go to the high ropes course. So as a member of the board, I'd like to respectfully urge the zoning board to prioritize the safety and well-being of the children of YMCA Camp Potawatomi and decline the petition. I thank you for your time.
Michael Lindley, also at 7255 East 700 South. I'm one of the directors at the camp, and I have a few letters from other members of the camp board that go into a little more specifics. I won't read all of them, go through some highlights. From one of the board members, as Adele mentioned, Camp Potawatomi serves hundreds of children each year, providing a safe, nurturing environment that promotes learning, growth, and personal development. Our foremost priority is ensuring the safety and well-being of every child. The introduction of a short-term rental to our camp property introduces a range of risks that could compromise that safety. The short-term rentals, by their nature, host a continually changing population of guests, individuals who are not part of the local community, whose backgrounds are largely unknown, unlike long-term residents who are part of a stable neighborhood and subject to community accountability. This lack of consistency creates uncertainty about who may be staying nearby at any given time, raising legitimate concerns about potential exposure to individuals with criminal backgrounds, including registered sex offenders and those involved in domestic disputes or substance-related issues. From another letter, my specific concern with the short-term rental within feet of Camp Potawatomi is the ability of a stalker and or abuser to rent the property during a session that a child or children are attending camp. This is a very reasonable concern. I've had the opportunity to work with a large crisis shelter that houses and provides assistance to abuse victims, women and children. Unfortunately, on a very frequent basis, an abuser can take extraordinary means to pose as an individual that can gain access to the facility, be it as a construction worker, facility technician, etc. Camp by design is meant to be an open outdoor experience with nature and peers. While camp has structure and processes in place to look after each camper and their safety,
having a short-term rental property next door allows access that would not be allowed by law in other situations.
My name is Ryan Hanchu. I live on 7269 East 650 South. It is the property directly adjacent to the west of this one. And you guys may or may not remember me. I was in front of you about 3 years ago petitioning for us to be able to build a house on that property. So that property has been in my family since the early 1900s. And while I may have only lived there for the last 3 years, it's been 35 years of my family history since I've been alive that we've owned that property. For my entire life, that whole neighborhood has been nothing but a safe space where people have no issues leaving doors unlocked, have no issues walking down to say hi to their neighbors, who are welcome to open a pole barn door and go get nuts and bolts if you need them. And we are at risk of losing that great privilege of living in an area like that. Because let's face it, if you have somebody next door to you that you've never met before, you don't know who they are, you're not leaving your door unlocked anymore. It's just not the way you're going to work. So I have an interesting perspective on camp. Not only is my 11-year-old son living directly next to this property, but my son has also attended this camp. So I've seen it from a parental perspective and from a neighbor perspective. And when I look at it both ways, if I'm going to send my kid to a camp, I want to make sure he's safe. And the same note, if I'm going home in the evening to somebody who I don't know who is beside me, I can't feel safe in my own home. And that really worries me. I do want to say that I haven't met Mr. Long yet. I've seen him working on the property quite a bit, and the place is looking very nice. And I appreciate the work that he's put into it. Hope he doesn't take this personally, but as far as a short-term rental, I hate to see this come into our neighborhood, an area that is so important to all of us. Thank you.
Anybody else want to speak against this petition tonight? Mr. Long, you want to? Yep. Just speak to the board.
I understand their concern, but Airbnb fares around the lakes where people come and go all the time, in or town or out of people. I mean, it's always busy, and that's what it is. It's a lake life. They have guests that they don't even know, kids that come in all the time. The house right next to me that they own got different people coming in all the time. They say different leaders that come in, different for like camp counselors or whatever. So that's kind of like a short-term thing too, that I was told. It's some people, they got people coming in and out. So it's not much different as far as safety. All these for the Airbnb, VRBO, they do check people more or less. I don't know if they do a complete background check, but they do. I've never had no issues. I've never heard of really any issues around here about safety. I just don't think they understand, at all. But to me, I don't think there's really a safety issue in any other next door, any place you go. It could happen anywhere, any time. People travel and do things, and I don't think the safety is an issue. I've never seen safety within a short term with me, and I've never experienced it, heard anything around here that's happened. We're a small town. Most people come to the lake. They want to enjoy the lake. They're not there to go be predators or something like that. They ain't their goal. They want to go to the lake. They want to enjoy it. As far as the road, I mean, it is a county road. It does end past my drive, so I don't know. They do maintain it, and I'm glad they do. Appreciate it. So I didn't write everything down. I tried listening to see what their concerns was, but the biggest one they heard was safety. It's like they heard safety for the kids. Well, it could go the other way too. They say thousands of kids coming through. Who's not saying kids are kids? They could come over here and destroy my house just as easy. I'm not worried about that. That's not a concern to me. It could happen. If it is, that's what insurance is for. And I don't think it's going to happen. I think it's a good program. I think they've done a lot of good things. And as far as all the activities, I talked to everybody. They said all the activities are so far away, because I was worried about the activities myself, about noise level. And they said, nothing's near your house. Everything's over on the other part of the land. And that's what I was told by these. I don't know if that's true. I don't know. You can ask them that question, but what I was told, everything happened on the other parts of the property, nothing just real close to where I'm at. That's just a different area. So if the main concern is safety, I don't think there's anything to worry about anything, any other place you go on this planet Earth. I mean, there's always evil somewheres, and you just hope you never see it, That, I don't think it has to do anything with what I'm doing with this house. I mean, like at the lake, it's crowded. There's people, a lot of these happen on lakes. There's all the time. And always got strangers coming in. I don't hear of any of this, the fears that they have. I don't know what else they was saying.
There was a question about traffic.
Traffic, yeah, well, small house, 2-bedroom, 1 bath. You can only fit, so we advertise probably 4 people is what we're gonna say, but I'm saying you might be, because you got 2 kids and 2 adults. Every time we've had, my other place has never had one complaint by any neighbors at all, never. And I got one bad neighbor down at the end there. He threw a fit the whole time, but he's actually rented from me now,
So you mentioned you do have one other rental. How long have you had that been in operation?
4 years.
4 years. And explain, there was some current concerns about a background check, and you kind of mentioned it. What experience have you had with any sort of background checks through the rental service?
They got some kind, I don't know what kind of checks they do, but they're usually pre-approved. They check, I don't know if they check background per se, I don't know, but I just know they do checks on people that they screen them before they go my way. And, so I do
Is
know.
there any additional screening that you do or are able to?
No, I don't do no other. I'm open to, if I have to do it, I'll do whatever, but yeah, I mean, but,
There's free resources out there for that.
okay. Yeah, I don't mind doing that if that's a concern.
Mhm.
But just like them, there's thousands of kids. Are they all?
And the one other thing that they mentioned, I don't think they know how far away from the property that you live.
I live about 7 miles, 7.5 maybe in that area. It's really not too far. And we always, if they're worried about that, we always leave all our contact information there. People call us. We've had occasional people call us about the boat or something like that, or where's a good place to eat or something. But all our contact information right there at the Airbnb on the bar that we leave, So we leave everything, and I got my phone all the time.
That's all the questions that I wrote from the demonstrator stuff.
Okay.
Guest parking was an issue they were talking about.
Yeah. We're putting a drive. There was a drive there. It's all grown up. I was told by the neighbor. I've never seen the drive, but they said there used to be right in front of the house, and that's in the plans. Next week, I guess the guy's going to come up and put some more limestone there and stuff. That was the plan. That's what he told me. So hopefully it happens next week. And that should be big enough for 2 cars, maybe 2 to 3. And we never have that with the other place. We've had 2 cars and a boat. One time somebody brought a boat they want to do, but I understand this lake don't have public access, but they tell me across the lake, there's a guy that lets you put in for like $5-10, put a boat in. So, I mean, it's not like this lake's unknown to strangers, that people come from outside, they still can get in if the neighbors are allowing it. So.
Anything else?
You guys have anything?
We probably won't. Close the public hearing. I don't generally like to talk about what I do, but as a sole individual that takes care of the sex offender registry for the county, from what I'm seeing, you could have had a sexually violent predator that bought this house. Nobody could have stopped him. He can live there. Okay. No comments. Because this isn't a public park. This isn't a school. So they can live where they want if it's not with 1,000 feet of those places. Also, I think anybody else here also had the same opportunity that Don did. He took advantage of it and he bought this property. I think anybody else here could have done that as well. What else do you guys have?
Well, there was a lot of concerns with the children at the camp, and when you guys have the children at the camp, how long or often are the kids unsupervised? Never. Never. So if there was someone that meant harm to the kids, there would be an adult nearby? Always? Okay.
So have you decided, Don, how many guests you're gonna be allowed in there yet?
It's gonna be a 2-bedroom, so it's usually my other place is still 2 bedrooms, but it's a bath, and I have 4 to 5, if they have 4 kids, they could, the little kids, I'm talking adults, 2 adults is usually what we allow, 2 adults and the kids.
This is much more isolated than your other location. Are you on Whitmer Lake? Is that right?
Yes.
Whitmer? Okay. You're on one of the channels?
Yes.
Is that correct? Okay. So you have a lot of neighbors and around? Okay.
The downside to this property is it's at a dead end.
I just don't like the isolation, and I don't like it next to the park either.
It is different, but it's still
Yeah.
available to anybody to purchase.
Well, it is, but why, well, yeah, why even entertain the possibility of a guest being there, looking at these kids?
Don, how long have you owned this property?
I just purchased it.
Okay. Did you know that when you did it that you were gonna have to get a variance to do short term? Okay.
She said that she didn't say it passed, but she said it's got good chance, but you never know.
Yeah.
So it's good to find out.
Just as a side note, it is not any longer a valid home size in the county. It's only 660 square feet. And it doesn't meet the setbacks.
Do what?
I don't think anything would meet the setback.
Yeah.
Well, that is,
If-
that
if-
is one of the 12 conditions.
If this variance weren't to pass, how would you move forward in the future, Mr. Long?
I would continue to clean up the place. My plans, I got a permit, I just finished up yesterday. Gonna clean it up and make it worth something, it's a beautiful view. We love the lake. My wife says if it was bigger, we'd even move there, it's got a nice view. There's no room for a garage, so you can't really live there. It's more of a vacation home, even getaway. It's not huge. I proceed to keep, I'm gonna redo everything. I've already got permit for plumbing, electrical, I'm gonna do drywall. I'm gonna make it look nice. I'm helping, I think, what I'm doing. That thing's after a long time, it's been dated so bad. Yeah, that's my plan.
So you would probably keep it? Or sell it to a stranger or
Long-term renter.
or a long-term runner?
Yeah, I'm self-employed, there ain't much, I'm thinking of my future for income, and what the things are. A couple Airbnbs, he's employed, there's no, you're gonna give me a paycheck. So my thought is if I get a couple of these, that would help supplement later in life. I'm 10 years away from being there, 10, 12 years, so I would like to, get it. It's been good so far.
And then what he's saying about living there, if he turned it into a long-term rental, somebody'd have to live there without a garage or.
Yeah. A lot of people do it.
Yeah.
Long term's a little harder too, because I've done that before. People don't always pay the bills, or they don't mow the grass, or they just don't upkeep, or they litter, it's almost, I'd rather just know it's all taken care of. It's always been trimmed. I got a neighbor that's already mowing it for me. He loves the idea. He's not here tonight, but he's all for it.
Any other discussion? Lynn?
What? Oh, I already said, I don't like it much. It's just the proximity. And I know that in your business, you see a lot of this stuff, so. You are correct. Somebody, a predator could have bought the property.
Right.
Yes. Yeah.
That was mentioned several, sex offenders was mentioned several times, so I thought I'd
Yeah.
point that out.
That's fine.
That one could move in there permanently.
Yes.
I didn't know if the
The
camp
kids are
would.
supervised.
It's not public, so that's,
Oh, it's not a public camp. Okay.
well, I couldn't just go there, so that's, I couldn't just take my family there, as far as I know.
Two questions. May I respond to the sex offender comment, and then I don't know what direction you all are going, but can I talk about House Bill 1035?
Are you familiar with it, Robbie?
How's it gonna pertain?
It is about short-term rentals and how municipalities can regulate rental terms through permitting, safety standards, and operational requirements. So if you all decide to move forward with it, you all could also decide, well, let's put a fence barrier in, or ask the owner to put property lines in their agreements and make it more clear to the renters what is available to them and what is not, as a requirement from the zoning board.
That's kind of within what we vote on, isn't it, Robbie?
It is.
Fences are somewhat limited. Well, I guess it's an ag zone.
It's an egg zone. They could put an 8-foot fence in an egg zone. Yeah, it's egg.
I guess, what do you have to say about sex offender registry?
Just that if there were a neighbor who was a registered sex offender, we would make our staff aware so that if they saw this person, they would be aware that this is a threat to our property and children. Versus when they see someone on the, like if Ryan walked over to see Mickey and they weren't aware of who he was, they say, oh, you need to go to the office to check in. So we have a system for that. But we can make our staff aware who are all background checked, screened, et cetera, of who could be a potential threat.
Isn't there a requirement to alert your neighbors when a sex offender moves in nearby anyway?
No.
There's not.
Just for, I think, schools and daycares.
Yeah. You have somebody wanting your property, they're not gonna go to your office, okay? That's just not how that works.
Correct. There's we have a whole process in place with them, but versus, hey, we need you to go to the office. Hey, Karen, watch for this guy. They're coming to the office is different than, hey, Karen, I need you to come down here. That neighbor's here. It's like a different process. And we've had that. We have camper parents who are not allowed to have access to their children, and we're aware of that. So if they're on our property, we have a procedure to, get me and move them away or call local law enforcement.
All right, we're ready. How are we?
How are we gonna do it?
Do
One on
we
each one?
want to put any conditions, or do we want to just let it ride and go for it?
What you got in mind?
Yeah, what kind of conditions?
Well, the fencing, the marking of the property, the people, I don't know what Don can do to keep people from going off of his property, but I think something needs to be done so that people just can't stroll over there. And since it's an egg zone, the fence can't extend as far as the wood deck, is that right? I guess we can't fence off the whole property, can we? I don't think so.
Restrictions on.
I guess I would not want to set that,
In the front
even
yard,
though.
it can only be 4 feet. But
Yeah, in the front yard, it can only be 4 feet, okay.
which I guess it'd be 2 feet. I would say. it'd be
Yeah.
2
I guess
This just seems like an awful idea, I think, being
I don't
like
know,
in L1
6
zone,
feet,
but,
It's not an L1 zone.
well, it should. The precedence is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
It seems like a terrible idea.
Because
Yeah, you could have, you could have pigs there. Yeah, you could.
typically we're running from a view shed and then we're gonna throw a fence up.
Okay, I'll forget
No,
it.
I know.
We'll just
I guess
vote.
I'm-
So how are you wanting to vote?
But the parking is something that, because we
Well, I have
haven't,
several of them I'm gonna vote no on, so,
Do you want to?
Yeah.
Individual.
yeah.
I guess, I don't know, I feel like this lot, I think people that come here to rent stuff like this, you kind of know, but.
I'll tell you, we had some renters a couple of weeks ago that poured hot grease out the back door of my house, so I don't think you know, okay?
Common sense.
They didn't put it on a sink?
No, they spilled it all over the kitchen floor. So when you went in, you slipped and slide all around. So anyway, you don't know. You don't know. They don't screen them. That's bullshit. Sorry.
So we're gonna call, she's gonna read each one. We'll call for it.
They do not get screened.
The proposed use is the conditional use in the zoning district for which it is proposed. Tyler?
How many do we have again? 12?
12.
Nick?
Yes.
Jerry?
Yes.
David?
Yes.
Len?
Yep.
The proposed conditional use will be in accordance with the general objectives or with any specific objective of LaGrange County's comprehensive plan or this UDO. Lynn,
Yes.
David,
Yes.
Jerry,
Yes.
Nick,
Yes.
Tyler.
Yes.
The proposed conditional use will be designed, constructed, operated, and maintained so as to be harmonious and appropriate in appearance with the existing or intended character of the general vicinity, and that such use will not change the essential character of the neighborhood. Jerry,
Yes.
Nick,
Yes.
David,
Yes.
Lynn,
No.
Tyler.
Yes.
The proposed conditional use will not be hazardous or unreasonably disturbing to existing or future neighboring uses. Lynn,
No.
David,
No.
Jerry,
Yes.
Nick,
Yes.
Tyler.
Yes.
The proposed conditional use will be served adequately by essential public facilities and services such as streets, police and fire protection, drainage, water and sewer, or the persons or agencies responsible for the establishment of the proposed use shall be able to adequately provide any such services. Tyler,
Yes.
Nick,
Yes.
Jerry,
Yes.
David,
Yes.
Lynn.
Yes.
The proposed conditional use will not create excessive additional requirements at public cost for public facilities and services and will not be detrimental to the economic welfare of the community. Jerry,
Yes.
Nick,
Yes.
David,
Yes.
Tyler,
Yes.
Lynn.
Yes.
The proposed conditional use will not involve uses, activities, processes, materials, equipment, and conditions or operations that will be detrimental to any person's property or the general welfare by reason of excessive production of traffic, noise, smoke, fumes, glare, or odors. David,
Yes.
Lynn,
Yes.
Tyler,
Yes.
Nick,
Yes.
Jerry.
Yes.
The proposed conditional use will have vehicular approaches to the property that are designed so as not to interfere with traffic on surrounding public thoroughfares. Tyler,
Yes.
Jerry,
Yes.
Lynn,
No.
Nick,
Yes.
David.
Yes.
The proposed conditional use will not result in the destruction, loss, or damage of natural, scenic, or historic features of major importance. Lynn,
Yes.
David,
Yes.
Tyler,
Yes.
Nick,
Yes.
Jerry.
Yes.
The use and property values of the area adjacent and nearby to the property included in the conditional use will not be affected in a substantially adverse manner. Tyler,
Yes.
Lynn,
Yes.
David,
Yes.
Nick,
Yes.
Jerry.
Yes.
Conditional use will not be injurious to the public health, safety, and general welfare of the community. Jerry,
Yes.
David,
Yes.
Nick,
Yes.
Tyler,
Yes.
Lynn.
No.
The use will meet all applicable regulations of the code, including setbacks, yard, open space, dimensional, and development standards of the code. Nick,
Yes.
Lynn,
No.
David,
Yes.
Jerry,
No.
Tyler.
Yes.
Petition's been approved. Thanks for coming in tonight.
Can this be revoked if there's evidence of problem?
There is a,
Come back here.
there is a finding procedure in the ordinance for complaints.
The decision can also be appealed in court.
Correct.
Thank you. He knew what the property was when he bought it.
So we're gonna move on. We're in Johnson Township, section 32, Township 36 North, range 10 East. It's zoned L1. It's located at 1430 East, 700 South Pocaville. It's a conditional use variance for a short-term rental in the L1 zoning district. Here's our parcel. Oh.
Got 'em.
May hallucinate here. There we go.
There we go. Do I have a representative here? After all.
Good evening. My name is Dwayne Yoder. We live at 17541 County Road 34 Goshen. I'm here representing my wife Brenda and myself in this petition to appeal for a short-term rental at 1430 East 700 South. We bought this residence 5 years ago, a little over 5 years ago, and closed on September 18th, 2020, as part of our retirement plan. And we've enjoyed it immensely. Over the years, we've made what we feel are some pretty significant renovations and improvements. We fixed the 180-foot seawall, recapped it, we added the patio, the cement patio, we re-sided it, and just did a number of exterior improvements. The inside was pretty well done when we bought it. But as part of our retirement, and our Goshen home is 35 minutes away, so Brenda is already going to manage this facility from our full-time residence there in Goshen. Like I indicated, we've thoroughly enjoyed it over the last. We weren't Lakers before, and we fast became Lakers. I've worked for boat companies over the years, and so I got a deal on a pontoon. We put in a lift. It didn't have one. We put in a pier, and our grandkids just enjoy it immensely along with us. But Brenda started doing some research because in our retirement, we really felt we needed to supplement our income. We want to do some traveling, and it takes finances to do that. She did some research and found some other rental units, whether they were Airbnb or VRBO on other lakes. We're on Whitmer, on other Indian chain of lakes. I think some on Whistler. There's actually one across the channel from us that were both VRBO and Airbnb. So it got her looking into it. And if we're approved to do a short-term rental, we would, I think the longest term rental company is VRBO, and Airbnbs are a little squirrely, we thought, because of the short term, you can do rooms and that sort of thing. So we chose to go with what we feel is a more reputable rental group, VRBO. And we've used them too over the years and been pretty impressed. So that's really.
That's a three bedroom.
Oh, it's a 3-bedroom, 1 bath. We've got bunk room for kids. I think
Four kids.
she should be up here talking about it actually. But
We've got
You stand up.
2 bunks, full size, in the kids' room. So you can fit 4 in there, and then we have 2 kings in the other rooms for 4 adults. We have 2 living areas too. We have like a family room and a living room.
as you can see, the driveway is fit for 3 cars. We feel that's adequate. We also know that we've talked to Structure Bridge. We've talked to the assessor warden, and just yesterday we talked to the appraiser with the bridge project. We know at end of 2027, we've got the TDR, temporary right of way, TRA, and there's going to be an acquisition of part of our property for the bridge project. But we know that there's going to be limitations for renting it out at the end of 2027 because of the project that's going on with the bridge. So we're fully aware of that. But before that, we feel that this is our first time ever doing something like this. So we want to, test it. If it is successful, we'll continue.
We're trying to do it right. We put everything in, fire extinguisher, smoke alarm.
Yeah, CO detectors,
we're
everything. We've done she's kept me pretty busy. But that's what we wanted to do it the right way.
If I won't stay in it, I don't expect anybody else to, so.
Right. So that's our appeal. That's our request, and we're open to questions.
Just a second. Anybody else want to speak in favor of this petition tonight? Anybody want to remonstrate against this petition tonight? Close the public hearing. Anybody else have anything? Any questions?
I frequent these lakes a lot. My grandmother lives in Whistler. This is the first place you see when you come on to Whitmer from the channel. It has increased in visual value significantly in the last few years. It is very nice. It is very close to the bridge. My only concern with this being a rental is that you have a strict policy on parking, because that not only is that, it's not just a lake road, it's one of the most heavily traveled county roads.
But there is room on the yard too. We won't have anybody. I mean, in the listing, I'll say it has room for 3 cars, even with what they're taking.
But
it'll
he's
still
saying
have
max
3.
it at 3 cars, right?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's what
You don't want
No.
if you become comfortable with people parking in the yard, your beautiful yard won't be beautiful very long.
No, and if you've driven past, you know how particular I am with that yard. No, that would.
No, in the actual VRBO, I haven't completed it, waiting for this meeting, obviously, but no, we definitely limited it to three cars.
We've already determined because of liability issues, the pontoon would not be available for rental. That would be taken off, but we do have part of the pier available for them to bring a boat in and tie off if they would choose to, a renter would choose to. And of course, you got access to do that on Westler.
Right next door.
Yeah. Or on the other end of Whitmer there.
So is there, without making that a condition, that 3-car parking is not going to be something that's in stone, right?
We've kind of self-imposed that ourselves, but if you want to make that a part of the condition, that's certainly fine with us.
That was my only concern. I think this is the perfect place for a rental.
And we are eliminating, I'm asking for no parties, etc. And yeah, good luck with that, right? Well, we're pretty close to our neighbors right next to us too.
You go to
So
the lake, they're gonna party.
Yeah,
You know that. You've been a Laker for how many years now? 5? Okay, yeah. Uh-huh.
But this is, in my opinion.
I live at the lake myself, so
I don't want it abused.
And you're right, there is no screening of potential tenants.
No,
either.
there's no screening. No.
But they've got us on speed dial. We know all of our neighbors pretty well.
There was a rental across the street from us too when we first moved in. And we never had any problems with them either.
So they're gonna take ground? I heard they weren't gonna take any ground when they put this in.
They're just taking how much?
I think I wrote it down. No,
it's just from, it's not from the shed is over there. It's beyond the shed and then
it's about
over.
210 square feet is what.
Oh, okay.
So I've got to move that shed inward towards the seawall a little bit. But
I would like to propose a condition that they can have a maximum of 3 cars on this property.
Second. We have a motion and a second for a max of 3 cars. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Condition carries.
We can do this in all at once.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
I don't like I don't really like the location all that much because of the traffic pattern there, but it's well kept. It's nice. It's got plenty of room
Well, the
for
good thing is
cars.
we have a large yard to the side,
we're not sure why they have truck weight capacity signs there by the bridge because
all the trucks.
it's
go by.
it is well traveled, as you know, trucks coming to Cootie Grounds or wherever. But we know that when we have grandkids, they are not allowed towards the road because the traffic is pretty intense sometimes.
You still will be using the property.
Oh, yes.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
Yes.
It's all in
I'm okay with
Yep.
each individuals then?
Yeah, I'll just
One.
call your names. Tyler,
Yes.
Nick,
Yes.
Jerry,
Yes.
David,
Yes.
and Len.
Yeah. Petition's been approved. Thanks for coming in tonight.
Thank you.
Just kidding. It's in Jerry's face.
Say that to the back of,
Do we,
say that to my taillights.
do we have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to
Aye.
adjourn. All in favor, say aye. Adjourned.
Adjourned. Oh.
No, this is an awfully late.
Chris. Did you miss your nap time?
My own fault for being.